Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Click R3 number 47. Very excited to be here. Very excited. You said I wasn't. You said I didn't sound excited. I was ready. I'm ready. It's a big week's in front of us. Well, next week is in front of us. We got the weekend, and then it's like nonstop. I'm sure announcements about to happen. So I got Ryan here with me. We're gonna go through some stuff. We're gonna talk a little bit about Click R3 predictions as well, and then trying to catch up on a bunch of news. How's it going, Ryan? You you look like you're ready over there with you got a hoodie.
You like it? Come
We'll
on
go
now.
with that.
It looks good. Come on now. Let's not front. I think I
Bold.
look pretty. I look pretty snazzy. I look
Bold
pretty
is
snazzy.
the description. how's how the past few weeks been treating you?
I've been staying busy, just doing stuff, going out there. Weather's getting nicer, John. Weather's
It
getting
is.
nicer. Trying to be out of the house more.
Mm.
Spend some time with friends, family, the girlfriend, just being outside. Being outside. And finish my Saros Platinum too.
You got the platinum on it. Okay, very nice. Very
Ooh,
nice.
daddy, yeah. Yeah, that was I love it.
I got to the end of the game. I never used the modifiers, and I saw one of the trophies was like, you gotta do 33 runs with modifiers. Like, oh, whoops.
Well,
probably
so
should
yeah,
have been doing that.
I did the same thing. I wanted to beat the game vanilla, no modifiers.
Yeah.
So I did everything, true ending, no modifiers. Then I was like, oh shit, I gotta do that. 33 runs without modifiers. But you can do biome 3. And if you just like run through the whole thing, because the most rooms don't block you off, you can just run right through it and you can clear that run in like 5 minutes. And if you just turn on positive modifiers, you'll like kill the boss easily. So that's the easy way to do it.
Kind of cheese it a little bit.
Yeah, it takes like an hour. If you're zero modifiers, you'll do 33 runs pretty fast, I'd say.
Did you what about the one where you don't get hit at all in a biome? Which one did you do for that?
Same thing. So biome 3 short.
Okay.
Like once you know the game, like you can blaze through biome 3. So biome 3, I mean, if you're just like careful, make your beeline to the boss. So you're really only trying to avoid residual bullets as you like run past everything. Don't risk it. Don't try to clear rooms. Beeline right to the boss. And if you know that boss and you've got like a really good weapon and you've played the game far enough to where the armor matrix is fully bought out, the same thing. Like you're not going to be like having to dodge his shit long. You'll kill him pretty fast. So
okay.
that didn't take many attempts.
I mean, if you're gonna do 33 of them anyway, it's like might as well. So when you do that, do you then just leave after you beat the boss? Do you just then leave, go back, and redo it?
You can just leave. Yeah, the trophy pops right after you kill the boss.
So, but I mean, for the 33 runs, you then just go right back to the main hub.
You go to that portal, go back to the passage, and then just run biome 3 again.
Okay, fair
enough. Not too
bad. Maybe I will then, because that was like the couple trophies I was missing, and I think I need to do the thing where I think I still have like another 50 kills, like with different weapons. So I got to figure out which weapon I need to kill things with.
Yeah, that one, like I wasn't focusing on it, and then I'm like, oh wow, there's like 75 kills I need to get still. So there's like 3 weapons I just was not touching.
Yeah, the Buzzsaw one is the one I really didn't use that much.
I didn't like it either, but then I saw people say on the Saros subreddit that the Reaping Chakram actually fucks. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll use that. And sure enough, it actually works pretty well if you get used to it.
Okay. Yes, I use the basics. Your assault rifle with the smart bullets, or I did start to like the shotgun more though. I
just can't do the close combat in
the
Returnal
vertical
or Saros.
The vertical spread, they immediately get staggered. You punch them, it's over. You keep going.
That's pretty good.
I like the stagger. The stagger was good, but it's a good game. Good game. In hindsight, I look back on it. I think more impactful or just enjoyed it more. I think I did like the Returnal playthrough. I didn't like anything about the Returnal's platinum attempt or anything, but I mean, I think I enjoyed my time with Returnal more because I think it felt more rewarding too. Actually, like beating it.
I was gonna say, now looking back, having completely platinumed out Saros, the game Saros almost felt harder initially. Then it tapers off and gets, like, for my skill level, way easier because of the armor matrix.
Right.
Then right towards the end, there's like another biome, and they kind of like take the training wheels off, and that one like kind of reset the difficulty, and I was like, oh, this got hard again. But in that sense, Returnal always felt like hard to me. And
Right.
I went back to do a run in Returnal after I finished the plat.
Mhm.
It's fascinating the differences. You don't realize it till you go back to Returnal. Returnal's slow. It feels really slow.
Oh,
I was like,
interesting.
well, yeah, because like there's like a sprint button in Returnal, and you have to
Yeah.
like you have to like aim down sights in return. Like muscle memory changes a lot in Saros. So going back to
Interesting.
going back to Returnal, I was like, oh, this actually feels and plays more different than I thought.
Oh, Bespoke says none of Melissa's cousins were harmed in the making of this hoodie.
None. I would never do that. I would never do that. It's all vegan.
It's all
I
vegan.
I don't know. I'm sure this came from a sweatshop. I have no idea.
Probably did, yes. Most likely. Then Fallout 4 says, will Bungie still exist in its current form in 5 years? Will it be absorbed into other studios within PlayStation? Something tells me that's on Ryan's topic list.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
So we got you, Fallout 4. We got you. Something tells me that's one of them. That's up there. It's up there.
So that's the thing, John. We are about just under 3 weeks behind here. So we've got actually some big stories to catch up on.
We we had a lot of stuff happen in this past couple weeks. We wanted to still come together before the state of play, but because of us missing 3 weeks, I was talking to Ryan, and I think what's going to happen is we have our podcast here for tonight. Next week, though, we will be doing a reaction podcast the night of the state of play. So the state of play is going to go from, it's like 5, comes on at 5, right? And it's going to go like an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes, something like that. So then, a few hours later, we'll be live with the podcast to react to everything that's happening. We'll go over it. And I was going back and forth. Maybe we could ask like Nano or Radic or somebody to come by too. So we have a third person in here chatting it up a bit. Cause that's going to be kind of a different from our typical Click R3 stuff. Cause it's going to be that reaction based one that normally wouldn't be scheduled. So maybe we'll pull a guest or something in with us for fun.
Sure.
So, and then Astrolox says, what if during state of play, they do the one more thing and it's Jak and Daxter remake reboot? Ryan might fall out of his chair. That might be it.
I'd be pretty shocked. No doubt. I mean, as far as we know, that's not happening. I feel like video game rumors nowadays, I mean, if you're like deeply entrenched in it, like me and John are, like you tend to know if that shit's coming. So I'd be borderline shocked if that happened.
You were shocked with the God of War remake announcement, though.
True. Well, I mean, certain studios do keep a pretty tight ship. Although it's funny with that game, it was, I think, pretty clearly telegraphed. Like, oh yeah, let's get the logos out there. You're not seeing this game again for a while. It's kind of like a Marvel's Wolverine. Like they just showed you something very quick, and they're like, yeah, now we got to make the game.
It's I'm hoping there's a crazy reveal like that, but we got the state of play on deck for a topic as well. We're going to kick around some predictions, and actually things in the news are happening that then directly relates to what we can see at the state of play. So maybe we'll cram all those in with the predictions and just discussion around state of play that's coming up next week. But where did you want to start tonight, Ryan? Was there anything else you were playing outside of Saros that you wanted to?
No, I didn't start anything. I really wanted to. I mean, that's the thing we can acknowledge right away. Like this month's been packed.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mina's coming out tomorrow. Insane. 93 Metacritic,
You on that?
I think.
You on that? Yeah, I think it's like 92 or 93, but it's 90s. Yeah.
Critical acclaim, and between that, 007 just dropped. I know you just finished that.
I played through 007. Yep.
That seemed to review pretty well.
I liked 007. I thought it was good. I did. I thought it was good.
Okay, let's go. Well, that's so the campaign's not that long. We're talking what, like 12-ish hours,
14 to 15 hours for like the initial playthrough, but it's going to depend on how you play because you can run and gun or kind of hitman stealth your way through if you want. Like there are challenges where you just ghost and you never get seen. That takes longer than I'm just going to go ahead and annihilate everyone with a shotgun. So it's going to depend on how you play. Some people might get a full 20 hours out of it.
Okay.
And then when you do play through it, there's also, aside from the main campaign, it's almost like VR training missions, kind of. And they set you up a bunch of scenarios, but it has its own level up system. It has its own like currency that you earn to then buy things, which are either outfits or more weapons for the training system. So they have a lot of stuff you can do outside of just the campaign technically. And I think you roll that into it, probably additional 5 or 6 hours, maybe if you're trying to earn everything there. So I think people will realistically get 20 to 25 hours out of this game.
That's a pretty healthy size for a game like that. Third
Yeah.
person shooting basically.
And it's I mean, it's a start of a new Bond, and it's pretty obvious this is just the origin story. So they're looking to do more, and they've already talked about that in interviews, that this isn't going to be the only Bond game they make.
Right. Yeah, it's like soft, not even soft, like a hard relaunch of the Bond property for video games. So strong start too. They sold what, 1.5 million copies, 24 hours. Is that what the metric was? Yeah.
And they don't, their studio is not in the US. So they don't spend nearly as much as what we see some of these other studios spend to make a game. The Bond license is probably the most expensive part of that whole thing.
Well, it's probably the Bond license bankrolling the marketing too. It's like, I feel like it was hard to not hear about that game.
Yep.
Very few times does a game get that kind of marketing push.
It's very recognizable. So they probably figure it's worth putting James Bond or 007 in front of as many people as possible, because you don't have to explain to them really what it is.
Yeah. Well, so we had that, and then May 19th was Forza Horizon 6. Not on PlayStation 5 yet, but that also reviewed exceptionally well.
Mhm.
So it's coming eventually.
I played some of that. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's just been a strong month,
Yes.
Mina though, that's right up my alley. I'll probably wait for the disc though.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You got it. Oh man, really?
Well, yeah.
Should
Gotta wait
we
for the disc?
see if we can pull some strings? Maybe somebody can, because you're already going to buy it anyway physically. Maybe somebody can float you the digital key.
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah,
if I can play it in a timely manner, that would help.
I would be very curious to hear your thoughts on Mina the Hollower, because I do think that is a game that you'd really enjoy and get a kick out of.
For sure. What's funny is that I didn't even like bother playing the demo. I feel like I should just grab the demo just to at least get some game time in on it. But it just
because the save data carry over.
Yeah, seemed like I should do that at some point. But yeah, recent releases have been pretty strong, but we are backed up on a lot of news. A lot of it not so good. We typically start, John, with PlayStation Plus news. And why don't we start with some bad PlayStation Plus news? We have price increases that have gone into effect due to ongoing market conditions. So this is for one month and 3 month memberships on the Essential and Extra tier, not Premium and not 12-month memberships. Although certain countries did get hit on Premium and 12 months. I think Australia is one of them. But here in the US, for example, 1 month of Essential went from 10 to 11. 3 months went from 25 to 28. PS Plus Extra, 1 month went from 15 to 17. 3 months went from 40 to 44. And then, Premium did go up on the 1 month and 3 months. So 18 to 20, and then 3 month, 50 to 55. So it's getting more expensive.
Yeah. I mean, we have the Steam Deck thing we got to talk about at some point, because that is just effective with the whole market. And I'll say some of my thoughts, because I think that does heavily affect Sony as well. And I think there was a cold hard slap of reality that happened this week. And it's not the PlayStation Plus stuff, but
it was at the time.
It was. But I think people look at this and go, oh, okay, it's 10%, 15% maybe increase. This is just another way that Sony is looking to mitigate loss for rising component costs. It's like subscriptions are actually very high margin, so we can raise it a little bit, and it's just they're going to find 10 some odd $10 million, $20 million overnight from this. So
yeah, well, I mean, it was not the last quarter, the quarter before that, where Lin Tao just straight up said, we're going to monetize the existing install base. That's this.
And then they're also thinking ahead to, I'm sure, GTA 6, when many people sign up for PlayStation Plus for maybe 3 months, to cover the holiday period. When they get GTA 6, they're off work, maybe for like holiday break, Christmas, or off of school, whatever, right? And they're like, oh, I'll sign up and play with my friends. Well, now you're going to have to spend an extra $3 or something,
It is just so grimy to have the console price go up that much. Then you need Essential at the bare minimum to play the game online. Somebody might, I'll just grab the 3 month,
That's it. That's how it's going to work. Because then, I mean, after 3 months, they're like, back to school or work or whatever, and it's not going to be as often. Although, I don't know, GTA 6, we haven't seen GTA Online. That might be we've seen the effect of GTA Online as it is now. I can only imagine what an online version of GTA will look like after 12 or 13 years of advancement. So there's a chance that maybe it just keeps people hooked anyway, and they just push to the 12-month, which I think is what Sony wants anyway.
Right, because the 12-month for most places did not go up. So
Yeah.
they probably just want people to upgrade. Mind you, Days of Play 2026 is going on, so we can just cover that real quick. It's the annual sale PlayStation does. So this is like your time to get things on sale for PlayStation hardware. Clearly, and this was leaked beforehand, but PS5 consoles and the Portal is not on sale.
Nah.
Kind of a bummer, because the only sort of cyclical logic we had was like, wow, that's a big price increase. Maybe they're giving themselves wiggle room for Days of Play and Black Friday. Well, not Days of Play, but other sales going on. $100 off PSVR 2, $50 off the Pulse Explorer, $40 off the Pulse Elite, $30 off the DualSense Edge, $30 off the Access controller, up to $20 off the DualSense. That is going to depend on colors. Discounts on Ghost of Yotei, Helldivers 2, Death Stranding 2, Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Of course, the PS Store has a shitload of sales. And for PS Plus memberships, you can save on new memberships or upgrading memberships. They've been doing this for 2-3-ish years now, which is you have to be a new member or upgrade. If you fall in that category, you can get up to 33% off. But you have to commit to the whole thing. So
I honestly think I'd recommend out of this is probably if you need a new DualSense. I was seeing them like $40 to $45, what people were showing from some of the spots they were finding. So that's probably the thing I'd pick out of this personally is new DualSense or a second DualSense or whatever. So
yeah, that's not too bad. Not too bad. It just sucks that there's not really a good time to buy the console. But I would think Black Friday might be where they want to do it. I mean, there's and surely November.
I'm hoping
GTA 6. Come on.
Yeah,
you gotta pray.
I'd like to be optimistic about it. I'm losing optimism though for console hardware right now. I got to be real. Again, we'll talk about that a little later. But I got concerns. I got concerns.
All right. Other quick PS Plus things we'll jot down here real quick. The Essential June lineup was announced, going live very soon on the 2nd. Mm-hmm. That's Grounded Fully Yoked, PS4, PS5, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, PS4, PS5, Warhammer 40K Darktide, PS5. And for some reason, EA Sports FC 26 is getting extended. That's in the current lineup. You can redeem that up to June 16th. As part of the Days of Play announcement, one PS Plus extra game confirmed already is Destiny 2 Legacy Collection. That includes the Final Shape expansion as well, which that's going to be available until June 9th. We also have a very big Destiny story later in the show. And yeah, Days of Play runs from now to the 10th. So just bear that in mind. You've got some decent time to pick up some games on sale. Oh, PS Plus Extra and Premium is May lineup. That's been live, but I don't know if you had a chance to check out Time Crisis on PS1 with the gyro aiming. It's pretty cool.
No trophies.
No, well, it's Bandai Namco, so they don't pay for that.
I mean,
they just choose not to pay for it.
From what we talk about with premium and how critical we are with it.
Speechless, John.
You know what? I get it. Sony is like, you got to pay for maybe float at that time. Sony, like, to me, if there is a single premium game, we're already hard on this, right? We're like, come on, at least make sure it has trophies. Like if you already know as one game, you know what? We got you, man. We're going to go ahead and take care of this one. We'll cover the bill of whatever it is to get trophies in this thing.
It's got to be really hard to get publishers to agree to go through that program in the first place. It has to be. Because otherwise, I feel like Sony should be the mediator. I mean, before it was implicit conversions. Now it's Project Cran. But it's like between the two, I assume the model was always like, you have to pay for the trophies. And just know, like, a lot of them don't want to do that. And Sony seemingly doesn't want to foot the bill for it either.
I know it's one of those things where people are like, it's just trophies, whatever. And I get that sentiment. Like you can overlook that, obviously, if you really want to play the game. But the whole point is that this is Sony's like premium service. It ties their ecosystem together. Trophies are a part of that. It's like, it's a premium service. It's like, maybe just cover the trophies. I don't know. Also, it'd be kind of fun. I don't know. I'm curious the trophies they'd come up with for Time Crisis.
I'd be curious, yes. But the gyro aiming does actually work much better than I thought. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's still the classic experience of the gun cons, but that's the next best thing is the gyro aiming.
Yeah.
Should they put an attachment out for your controller? You can put it in and like use the gun.
think that's a bit maybe a bit too much for the PS1 classic game with no trophies, but I digress.
Somebody's 3D printing that somewhere.
Oh yeah, somebody could 3D print it. Yeah, people 3D print the most ridiculous accessories for consoles sometimes. I mean, yeah, we can just jump right into it, John. So the state of play is confirmed, June 2nd, over an hour long, about an hour and 15, maybe hour 30. So a few things to note here, right, about the state of play. Throughout this PlayStation 5 console cycle, we've never had a 2-week notice. Very healthy notice. Now that might also be due to the partnership they're having with the Alamo Drafthouse, which this is something they did for the final years of their E3 experiences, which was partnering with movie theaters. You'd have a live showing, go to your local movie theater and be able to watch E3. So they're kind of doing the same thing here, where you can, if you have a local Alamo Drafthouse, I don't know if there's tickets still available, but you can go to a live showing. So I feel like that's maybe primarily why the 2-week notice was there, but it still must be a substantial enough show to want to do that. Give a 2-week notice, because damn near recent state of plays were like a few days notice. Sometimes it was a 1-day notice. So I mean, I think it's a pretty big deal. They did say this is going to have an extended look at Marvel's Wolverine. That's probably going to be your big, we were expecting this months ago. That's going to be your pre-order announcement and collector's edition, all that good stuff. But aside from that, John, the speculation ensues. What are we going to see at what is seemingly a very exciting state of play?
Should see the Faye God of War game. That's I don't know if you. The thing is, that could have been. It still might be a closeout game for them because it's God of War. It's their massive IP for them, obviously. You know what? I don't mind if they open with it.
What do you want them to close with it?
That's a really good question. What I would like to see them close with, and they won't because they hate me, is probably Naughty Dog's other game, which is another Uncharted title.
You think they'll unveil the other Uncharted game before they show more Intergalactic?
Dude, I don't know when Intergalactic might be a PS6 game at this point. That thing might come out in 2028.
Everything we're seeing are going to be PS6 games.
But like it might come out.
Everything shipping is going to get a native PS6 version.
But I mean, it might come out after the PS6 comes out at this rate. I don't know, man. That game,
yeah, probably.
That game is. It seems like we're still ways off, which is weird.
You think so? You think so?
I was so hopeful for 2027 for the game because I mean, honestly, I'm not expecting him out this year, but I was thinking 2027, and then we keep hearing like what the one actor was like. I think it's like a couple years off still. It's like, well, I guess they're. Are they saying that because that's just what they were hearing when they were, doing their mocap stuff, or are they saying that because they still have stuff scheduled for the rest of this year into next year for, mocap work and stuff? And they're like, oh, it's probably not coming out the first half of next year then. So I don't know. I'm holiday 27 for that. Maybe it comes out alongside the PS6.
I mean, well, the last thing we really got from Intergalactic was that report from Jason about crunch going on at the studio, and allegedly there was a big milestone and an internal demo they had to hit to present to SIE. So there's some sort of milestone that they're pretty far along in. I mean, they're in full production. Production's usually the shorter side of game development. Right. They've already found the game. They're out of pre-production. So I'm leaning towards 27 or 28. Now, where we see it next, I think I'm leaning more towards like a TGA thing. I think it's going to be a Jeff Keighley show, and I think it's going to be later in the year.
See, I kind of figured Media Molecule might go to the Game Awards or the like something like that, their game, because we're starting to see some stuff pop up for that one, and it's like, oh, okay, it sounds like an actual game, kind of. So maybe they could at least throw that out there, like, oh, Media Molecule is working on something that's not Dreams 2. I would hope they would think more along the lines of Little Big Planet, where it's still game creation, but it's more of a game than what Dreams was. So maybe that's something they want to show. I don't mind right now with Sony because of the way things have gone with this generation and hardware, and the look at their first party lineup as being softer than expected, you could say. I don't mind if they just start telling us about whatever, like games. Look, if Naughty Dog has Intergalactic, but they do remember they did the Insomniac thing where they were like, here's Wolverine, and then also here's Spider-Man. Like, they showed us 2 games from Insomniac, boom, boom, back to back, and Wolverine's still not out yet. So I don't mind if they go, hey, you know what? They are working on an Uncharted game. That is a thing. I'm not going to push back on that. Be like, all right, cool. Intergalactic coming up soon. Uncharted after that. We kind of have a roadmap for Naughty Dog, which is a studio that this generation has been heavily scrutinized.
Here's my problem with that. We're too close to PlayStation 6. And I only say that in the sense that you want to reveal that console with new things.
Mhm.
So when I think about PlayStation Studios and some of these like secondary projects that are starting to ramp up at these studios, or maybe some that are maybe closer to the finish line than we think, and we don't know about them just yet, or they don't have a formal reveal. And that could be the Media Molecule thing, the other Uncharted game, maybe the Fire Sprite game. I would think that might be soon, but who knows? Maybe the reason why we haven't seen that stuff yet is because they need like 3 to 5 something things to show when they do a PlayStation 6 live stream.
Right.
You know, they don't have that many studios. Like they're not Microsoft. They've got a decent amount, but when you're talking about planning 5+ years out for game dev cycles, you need something to like. So I would be hesitant to say that we're going to get this and that. You know what I mean? Like I think a handful of those things have to stay quiet for the next 2 years.
Well, I assume for the PS6 they'll have Venom, maybe Spider-Man 3, those 2 things to show potentially, just to give people an idea. Hey, Spider-Man's massive for us. It's going to be on the PS6. Get ready. Venom though is going to be a launch title for us. That'll be there cross-gen. They'll have that. Maybe next Gran Turismo to show off there, because they can show a lot of the big ray tracing effects and other things they can do with AI, as they are very, very in depth with a lot of the tech for Polyphony. And probably the next Horizon, like the next, like the big close out to the trilogy. Like those are the things I'm thinking about that'll be shown, but they very well could say, oh yeah, also Uncharted is coming back, and save it for that. That is very possible. Yes.
Sure.
But I just, I'm trying to think of what they can do here outside of the expected. Like we're thinking Wolverine, Faye God of War game. I'm going to say it. I'm sorry. Break-In, aka Fair Games. I'm sorry.
real quick. Yeah. SI trademarked a game not too long ago. It was spotted. It's called Break-In. It is being labeled as a video game. The trademark was spotted in the US and Europe. So Gematsu was quick to point this out, but Sony registered multiple social media accounts called Play Break-In. Like one of them was located in like Montreal, Canada. And then people remembered from that one report from Insider Gaming about one of the recent alphas, like one of the playable modes in the game is Break-In. So it might be a rebrand, which if anything makes sense for the game, if only because allegedly the gameplay looks like way different from that cinematic trailer. So it might be a rebrand. Yeah. Break-In's probably, I would think, showing up. I don't know if this is where you do that. Like, do you really like show another live service game and this one in particular? I don't know.
Yeah, the thing with that is it's going to be the question of how many people still even remember Fair Games outside of the people who are really plugged in. So if you put that on store shelves, people walk by and be like, I heard that was Fair Games, or they just go, oh, what's Break-In? I'll check it out. That's the branding was tainted. They had to move away from it for Fair Games. So again, it's been a while since we've seen it. Technically, we didn't even see full on gameplay of it then. So, well, I'm not expecting big things out of it, is what I'll say.
So like the sort of safe bets here. Very safe is Wolverine.
Yep.
Somewhat. I mean, very safe is like Faye, the Faye game. Yep. We're kind of just like brushing past that, but that arguably is probably going to be either like, you know, that wasn't supposed to be known.
That could be the closeout.
That wasn't supposed to be known. So I think people in enthusiast circles are like thinking there should be something else with that. That might be it.
Yeah.
As far as the big stuff, right? I mean, what else might be there? Likely Marvel Tokon, could just be a trailer in passing.
Character.
Horizon Hunter's Gathering could just be a trailer in passing. Kena Scars of Cosmora, they're publishing that.
Yep.
That's a PS Studios game. And then you think there's other things here too, like 4-Loop. They might do another 4-Loop trailer. And when you start to add just those up alone as like likely, that's like 5-ish PS Studio games. And that's a pretty healthy amount for a live stream like this. If all those showed up.
How about this one? Astrobot free update.
I don't think they're doing more Astrobot.
Oh, okay.
But I'd like to be wrong.
For Astrobot, and then they start leading the breadcrumbs for the next Astro game for the PS6.
Yeah, I'd like to be wrong.
They do the pack-in game. They start because they kind of play. Remember they played around with hyping up Astrobot in Astro's Playroom. They were doing that for a bit. Maybe they start playing around with Astrobot, like the game, and just start leading people to the eventual like successor to Astrobot.
I mean, hell, it might just be something where like their game is, they might just be doing a PlayStation 6, sort of reveal. I don't even know if they do a pack-in game at that point. I think you almost want to assign them to, or not assign them necessarily, but they would like pitch a full-scale game that would actually be priced to be sold on PlayStation 6.
They might want to think about a pack-in game for the PS6. That's all I'm gonna say. They might want to start thinking about that.
That'd be cool if they still did something small, something similar to Astro's Playroom. There's Gummy Bears too from Team LFG. I don't know if that's ready to be shown. And like I said, Fire Sprite's Project Heartbreak. Again, like some of these, I'm inclined to say like they're destined to be PS6 reveals.
Gummy Bear, yeah, I guess Gummy Bears could be a thing. They could show that, couldn't they?
Yeah, but I have no idea how far along that is either. So that's still a new team technically. It should be a good show, though, in theory. I mean, would anything from third party you think is standing out here? I mean, we did catch wind of one, which was, if I scroll down to it, the Rayman Legends remake, which I guess the logo came out. It's called Retold. Yep. Plus, Nate gave us a better idea of like, oh, this is why it's called a remake. Because I think everyone was wondering, like, why would you, just give it a resolution bump. He's saying 2D, 2.5D elements with 3D sections and new content, and he's saying that that's at the state of play. So that might be one thing we're expecting.
Yeah, I'm third party wise. Capcom maybe is there in some way. Onimusha still needs a release date. They could maybe show up there with that, but you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing Devil May Cry 6.
Ooh,
it's been a bit.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Devil May Cry 5 came out. It feels like a while. I mean, it was 2019, I think. Is that right? 2019.
Has it been that long for that game?
Because in the following year, they had the PS5
You're right.
version of it. I remember that because that was running at 120 hertz, and it was like, oh, look, it's trying to get up over 100 frames. That'd be really cool to see Devil May Cry 6. Capcom right now is on a roll, and I'm just anytime I see Capcom announcing a new game, I'm interested. Like, oh wow, they're killing it right now. So I'd like to see them show up. Or I mean, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 3. It's out there. It's out there somewhere.
That's not happening.
Is this the place? Or are they going to save it for the Video Game Awards at the end of the year?
How can you show it before you even ship Rebirth on?
Yeah, I know.
How do you do that? It's such a dick move.
Well, if they want to have it out before the end of this generation, they got to launch it next year. So you wait to the Game Awards and you're like, hey, it's going to be out in 4 months. I don't know. I guess.
You know what? I'm kind of rewinding here. I feel like I don't think they should, but I feel like you can show Part 3 and it wouldn't like spoil anything. Does that make sense?
They could play around with it. I think it's just going to come down to what the name is, but they could definitely just show, if you just show Cloud and Sephiroth, most people know they're getting to the end of the trilogy, right? Like, you know what I mean? So they could do something like that and then hit us with the logo and then hit us with 2027 and they're out. And you know what that would actually do? That wouldn't be a bad idea because as we're about to go into launch for Rebirth for the Xbox and the Switch 2, and that would just immediately spike hype for the thing. And people would go, oh, I guess I better get this game and get caught up now. So that's not a bad idea for marketing, just to show that the third one is coming next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they should do that, but I'm not. Before I was like, oh, you can't do that. But I'm like, they could keep it very narrow, like you're saying. Just show 2 obvious characters that you know are going to be in that. And it's not really breaking anything per se.
No. So I think that'd be kind of cool if they did it. I'm ready to see. I'm ready to see it. Otherwise, though, man, that's the thing. Sony has such a wide, they cast such a wide net with third parties. It's anyone's guess at this point. Anyone's guess.
June 2nd. So me and John will be there that night. We'll do a little show going over it.
Oh, here's a question. Okay. Because I already know it's going to be over the weekend. We're going to see it after that. Do you think Halo makes an appearance in this? Because campaign of like it's coming to the PlayStation 5. Do you think they just Microsoft's like, you know what, we might as well get a spot in that state of play?
Are they here's the thing with Sharma now involved.
Right.
Do you think that's something that they'd, because they're definitely teetering on the edge of like, oh, let's be super vocal, let's talk a lot. Like if this was an Xbox show, Sharma would be getting name dropped every time we record. Because they're constantly talking. So I am not sure if the play is to then take your biggest IP, your Sega moment, and putting it on your competitions. Especially with new leadership.
Right.
The old leadership, maybe. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen.
It's very unpredictable. It's hard to say. How exactly they're thinking right now. They're saying stuff, but it's very general what they're saying. They're not. It doesn't feel like they're super clear with their, because I think even they're trying to figure it out. So who knows? But they're at least committed to Halo coming out on the PS5 so soon. Campaign Evolved.
Well, they announced it. That'd be tough going back on that.
They are absolutely coming out with this game on the PS5. After that, who knows? I don't. Is there anything that you're hopeful of? Like you have a pie in the sky announcement or hope?
Pie in the sky announcement.
Dream.
I don't know if this is
Dexter.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a soon thing, but why don't we just transition to this story here? This was a rumor from Jordan Midler speaking on the VGC podcast saying he's under the impression that there is an infamous thing happening somewhere else in PlayStation at the minute. When that happened, hours later, Greg Miller from Kind of Funny, he's a big Infamous fan, he calls Jordan during the Kind of Funny Gamecast, gets him on the laptop. It's a whole goofy thing. Jordan just explains further that, hey, I didn't report on this. It's only one source. But he was under the impression that it's some kind of like remake of the first and second game. So he said, quote, that wasn't told to me directly, but that was very much implied, unquote. Colin Moriarty from Sacred Symbols, he was keen to point out that the blog post from Sucker Punch's site about how they're putting down those franchises, they're not like doing anything with Sly or Infamous at the moment. It's been deleted. So that might be a very deliberate thing. And then our friend Nate the Hate did say on Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call that platform, he said there is truth to Sony exploring and considering reviving some of their older unused IP. End quote. Now, I don't know if this is soon. Assuming it's true, give me that. Give me that. Speaking on this story, though, John, I would think they are, just in the sense that, like, if you look at what they've done previously, they licensed out IP to Bandai Namco. I think they are very much like, oh, let's see what we can do.
I don't mind it. I'd like to see Infamous make a return, even in the form of let's just get 1 and 2 playable. Can we do that, please? Like, if we're not gonna figure out the PS3 emulation native or whatever, can we at least make it so we don't have to play these games crunchy through the cloud? Can we do that? Because it is it's a crunchy experience. Like the soul of the game is still good. I think it still works. It's just wrapped up in a very crunchy exterior. Okay. Even if you play it on the PS3, you'll play it and be like, oh yeah, this is how it was back before 60 frames were fairly consistent with consoles and, anything above 720p or whatever. So I think the games themselves would translate over very nicely in the form of a remaster. And I'd like just cleaning it up, making it smoother at 60 frames. It would work. A new set of trophies, the whole thing. I think it'd be very exciting. I think people would like you see that story and how much it blew up. I think people are ready for Infamous to come back. It's that situation of it's been gone long enough and then it comes back and it immediately makes a splash because it's back. So I know Second Son, I thought about this. I was like, man, that really was 12 years ago.
Yeah. Over 10.
Crazy. More than a decade. So yeah, bring it back. I'd like to see. I think they need to think more and more about the idea of original superhero IPs. The superhero games work well if you have the right talent behind it. And Spider-Man's only going to get more expensive from here. It's just the way it is. The licensing is expensive.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely more. The thing is, like, superhero it's like you don't want to do too much. So just do Infamous. John, you've heard my pitch before. PS3 games on PS5. Honestly, I feel like the cheaper option is just fucking port the games that we don't have. They'll look nicer. They'll play nicer. You know, as kind of an offshoot story, I did include this one here. I don't know if you watched Digital Foundry's video on this, but it was pretty fascinating because sure enough, there's been an exploit that came out from Andy Nguyen, the Flow, on very old firmwares for PS5. So most people can't do this, but it's that exploit where you can jailbreak your PlayStation 5 and put Linux on it. This is a big deal, right? But that means you now have a Linux computer that's a PlayStation 5, and the Digital Foundry guys ran RPCS3, the Linux app on it. So you can, that's the most accurate testing we've ever had so far of PS3 games emulated on PS5 Silicon. So I did write down some of the results here. It's fascinating. I mean, some of the games, beautiful. Like they upscaled it to native 2160p. Ridge Racer 7, 60 FPS, 4K, looks gorgeous. Resistance Fall of Man, launch title from Insomniac, same thing. Heavenly Sword, they cranked up to 2880p. It's almost a nearly locked 30 FPS. Original PS3 game, the frame rate on that was just god awful. Here's the thing though, this is the CPU games. These are the problems. So GTA 4 Ballad of Gay Tony was worse on PlayStation 5. At 720p resolution, just it was tanking pretty hard in the opening cutscene. The average frame rate was pretty rough. MGS4's opening cutscene, same thing, lower frame rates. MGS4 is weird. So between PS3, PS5 720, and then PS5 4K, it was like all the same frame rate. So it's like the PS3 version is probably GPU limited, and then the PS5 emulation's like CPU limited. Mm-hmm. So they were averaging like 20 frames per second in the opening cutscene. God of War Ascension is a later life cycle PS3 game, so those are typically the ones where the cell SPUs are really getting stress tested. Ascension ran like shit. They turned MLA off, and at 720p, they were getting a lower frame rate than PlayStation 3. Killzone 2, cutscene performance was good. Gameplay, CPU bound, low frame rate. Killzone 3, different. They turned MLA off because it was implemented for Killzone 3. They were actually averaging some pretty good frame rates at various resolution targets. All the MotorStorm games ran pretty well. Better results than I thought, for sure. But what you are seeing is it's the CPU bound issues. The thing is, RPCS3 is a 10 plus year community driven emulator. So, it's always about how they would go about this. The point I've always made is that they're still heavily CPU bound, and these games have to go through cert QA. So there's just a whole bunch of, business bullshit these games have to go through that community emulators don't. So I still find it's just port the remaining games, just port them, or wait for PlayStation 6 to really brute force it.
Yeah, PS6 should be able to, we assume, handle it well enough.
Yeah,
I am curious that it's interesting because they're running Linux through it, of course, just to get this working. Right. I do have a Steam or a PS5 Steam OS box that I built that I'm running tests on, and I was going to do a video. I'm working to put a video out for it because more and more things have been happening with the BC250, and I've been working on it, building it. It's actually like down here right now, and it looks pretty cool. It's a cool little system that I put together, and it's actually to a point now where the community has come together and they've unlocked. So the PS5, they do the thing where they have more CUs than what actually ships with, like 36, I think CUs are activated on the chip, but they make a chip that has 40. That way they get better yield. If some are malfunctioning or faulty, they can disable them, and it goes down to 36. But with this BC250, it shipped to 24. People have figured out now how to go about unlocking all 40. So, and mine happens to actually be fine with 40 unlocked. So I have that done, overclocking it. It's set up pretty, it's doing some pretty impressive stuff with games like on Steam OS. Like some of the older titles, you just mentioned GTA 4. Of course, this can just run it through Steam OS. 4K 60, no problem. Plays it no issue because it's just running it natively on Linux for GTA 4. But I haven't tried PS3 emulation, so maybe I will. Maybe I'll fire some games up and see what we have. I'm honestly curious because the hope was that the PS5 with Sony's know-how, because they have all the source code and they have top engineers in the world, would be able to make it happen. But it definitely is not a drag and drop solution. So I think if I had the choice specifically for Infamous, I would rather than put the time and effort in and just do the full port remaster job and then sell it.
Right. Yeah. That's just at this point in time, that's what I prefer. Although I'm never against a PS3 emulation layer. Like if they were doing it, fantastic. I was
Yes.
never convinced. Those tests the testing doesn't really convince me either way. It still sounds like, oh, yeah, PS6. You've got enough CPU overhead. Like people are going to want like save states and maybe rewinds too. That's very resource intensive as well. So I just don't think PS5 is going to really be the place to do all that. But that's the infamous rumor.
Stupid PS3.
It took like 20 fucking years, and like still like Zen 2 CPUs are just, they don't love every game you throw at it. So
I mean, at least we are getting to a point where the games we think back on are getting moved over. Like Metal Gear Solid 4 was a big one. We'll have that, which they showed footage recently for it at 4K 60. It looked good. I was like, man, that's going to be fun at the end of August. Picking that up immediate, right away. Physical, the whole thing.
Yeah, that hour of footage was so good because it is still like, it still looks like the PS3 game. I kind of love those remasters that just don't touch anything, just do a frame rate and resolution bump.
Up.
Yeah, love it. It still looks like a PS3 game, which I really I love that about the game. All right, let's get into some smaller stories here. We'll spitfire some of these off before getting back to the bigger topics. New Welcome Hub widget. This one was pretty cool. There is now a trending now or top 10 widget. It's currently in beta, so no one has access to it just yet. I was somehow lucky enough to get it, so that's how it works.
That's with the time, right? Where it shows like, well, I'm sorry, concurrent players.
Yeah, well, it'll show trending now is what shows games and modes that saw a big surge in gameplay hours in your country. So it shows it based like on a percentage. In fact, I've got my console on right now, and I will just tell you what are some of the big things going on right now.
What we got?
Let's see. Sort by trending now. So I don't know how this is. Okay. Demon Slayer, 315% surge in gameplay hours. Was there like a content drop for that? I don't know. World of Tank Heat. That just looks like an ad. That just looks like an ad. There's no fucking, there's no percentage on that.
Okay.
Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, 219% surge in matches. Run Sport just says custom. Okay, now there's like, this changed. There's like ads on here now. All right, let me go to top 10. Just changing this shit on the fly. Wait, so this is fascinating. Number 10, right? For top 10 most played in my country. 1.4 million players. Spider-Man 2.
Oh. Huh.
So this top 10 was weird because, well, me and Matt finally did an interview, Matt Piscatella. And I asked him about the top 10. He's like, yeah, it's a little weird. He's like, NBA should be up there. Roblox should be up there. He's like, there's some that are missing. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to him. But some of the big suspects do.
You put that interview out?
Soon. Hopefully.
Okay, I didn't think I saw it.
No, next week or so. Fortnite, number 1, 15 million players this week. GTA 5, 5.6 million. Minecraft, 5.5. Marvel Rivals, 1.9. Rainbow Six Siege at 2 million players.
You said Minecraft's at 5.5 million?
Yeah, for the week.
Wow. Man. Sheesh.
MLB The Show, 1 million players. Apex is at 1.6. Battlefield 6, 1.5. This is funny. So I'm seeing this for the first time. Astro's Playroom.
Yep.
2.1 million.
There it is. All right.
That's crazy.
Let's go
Astro.
That's I mean, clearly it's the game that everyone has.
That's clearly not an order. That's
what about, was Fortnite on there? No Fortnite?
It's number 1.
Oh, what was that amount? How much was that? Did you say?
15 million.
15 million. There it is.
Yeah, 15 million.
We have no one to blame but ourselves.
But if this goes wide, this is just like more ammo for people to be annoying online. Like between Steam CCUs and now this.
Well, this seems kind of delayed, and it seems almost like they're showing you stuff that happened maybe the week prior, or even apparently things they want to show you mixed in with ads. Yeah. It's just a way to advertise games to you that are, currently like spiking or surging, and you go, oh, wonder why. Let me go look it up. So,
yeah, that's the new Welcome Hub widget. All right, getting into some PlayStation Studio news. A lot of things going on for the various PlayStation developers out there. So, Saros, we touched on this a little bit before. We do have a report from our favorite source that people love to argue about. It's the only number we have. Alinea Analytics, apparently based on the first 2 weeks of the game being on sale, it sold an estimated 300,000 copies, generating $22 million. About a third of those copies were the early access digital deluxe edition. We did have some official data from Matt Piscatella of Circana for the month of April. The game was tracked up to May 2nd, so it did actually get a little bit of extra time going into May. But Saros debuted at number 9, ranked by dollar sales. And yeah, the Alinea report mentioned that the game's technically going a little bit slower than Returnal. But Alinea has been very contentious. People really dislike them being brought up just because they're a third party. So they have proprietary in-house algorithms to guess within 10% if it's, up or down. But here's the thing. That sounds about right to me. There's no way the game's way higher or way lower than that.
Yeah, I kind of in line with Returnal, which on its own is kind of not as good as I was hoping then if it's even with Returnal, because think about the install size when Returnal came out. I mean, yeah, it was like a new game that, I will say Returnal was one of the games that definitely showed the use of the SSD because you were immediately back in action after you died. We were used to always, people forget, because again, it wasn't that long ago, but people do. We've gotten used to it. Like you get a load screen normally after that. They die. Okay, here's a load screen. Okay, now you're going to go back in. That just didn't exist. It was actually kind of jarring at first, wasn't it? You died, and then it showed like some kind of flashback sequence or crashing or something, and then you're just standing right back up. It's like, oh, okay, that was quick. So it made it less painful, having to start over because it was immediate. But Stars is just, people said it felt very much like a Returnal. You say, of course, it's faster, but like the spirit of Returnal is still very much there. So I kind of get the idea of it's almost like, what's the word? Like you're just kind of used to it. So it's like, oh yeah, there's Saros, I guess.
Yeah. I find that this game fell right in the same, it's like the sort of sequel problem on PS5. Like the games were established and the novelty wore off. The cool thing about Zero Dawn's over for Forbidden West. Everyone got to play the over-the-shoulder 2018 God of War, so people were down on Ragnarok. Spider-Man 2 was more of the same for people. I mean, it's weird how often I see that sentiment, as anecdotal as that sounds. But I think for a lot of folks, they get to the sequels and they're just sort of whatever about them. And the thing about Saros is like those games that, like, when Returnal launches within year one on a low install base, it's like those are your very sticky customers. So it's like, it's actually in a weird way, not always like a guarantee that the next game is going to easily exceed those sales. Right. Ideally, you hope, I would have loved to see it do better. And I really hope that there's like a road to profitability with this game, no doubt. But
people are kind of talking about the idea of the $70 roguelike and if it's a great idea necessarily. I'm like, yeah, that's a fair. I mean, people are already, of course, looking at $70 like, that's a serious decision here, right? It makes sense. Then you hear roguelike, and we see so many like indie games, which in turn are just cheaper games, are roguelikes. And it's like, oh, that's kind of what I'm sort of used to with this game type. And obviously, when you play Saros, you see it is a higher quality, like higher production game. But you do think about the smaller indie games that have kind of the tread's off the tire at this, but it's worn down for indie games when it comes to roguelikes. This is constant. We have them all the time. So it's that's the thing. It stands out in that way, but also it stands out because you could buy 3 or 4 of those indie games for the price of Saros. So
it's tough, right? Because I always want to advocate for games being as affordable as possible. It just feels wrong to say like you should pay 70 for it, but it's like I put 70 hours into the game, like, and
you put that much into Saros?
Yeah. I played a ton. Yeah, I loved it.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't know. It's like a really tough. Like I don't want to sit here and say you should pay 70 for it, but at the same, like I spent a lot of time with the game.
You spent a lot of time. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I'll admit, like I'm inherently biased. Like I love the studio. Like I love that. I love the gameplay. I love it. So I always want to like advocate for like nobody puts a budget into that kind of genre. It is like really cool to have a gameplay ass game that feels that good to play, and they're like trying to tell a story and it's really high production. I mean, because as you're implying, you typically associate that genre with something maybe in the $30 neighborhood, maybe cheaper than that. So it's kind of a weird rock and a hard place. I get where people are coming from, but I feel like it's hard to, sort of make a bull case of the game has to be cheaper. I mean, it took apparently $70 million to make.
I mean, I see a lot, but I see it a lot now with $70 games. And look, eventually it'll be it'll be worse with $80 games whenever we get to that point. That might be next generation at this rate. But the like 007's going through it now where people are like, I don't know, is a 15-hour single player game, is it worth $70? And that's just it. That conversation is going to come up because I get it. You could probably wait. I bet you by the end of the year, there'll be Black Friday sales, Cyber Monday sales for probably both of these games, 007 and Soros. It'll probably happen. So if you're cool waiting, you probably can get the games 30% off, that wouldn't shock me. So yeah, that's the thing. It's like, there's a lot of games to play right now and they're constantly coming out. There's no shortage of games. Just in general, like the wide swath of video games right now. They're everywhere, cheaper ones like Mina coming up. That's higher quality with we see the reviews for it, or just free to play games. There's just a lot of attention being pulled. So I always tell people, hey, you know what? If you don't feel like you need to get the game right now, don't give in to FOMO. Just, hang out and wait. That's it.
It'll be on sale for a long time, and PlayStation has the, the inherent advantage of always talking about the game and showing it and reminding you of it. So it'll have legs.
Yeah, I think over time it'll. And you know what? It wouldn't shock me if they did something with a PS6 version of Soros or something. Anyway.
Oh fucking daddy! Give me a separate trophy list. Give it to me. Okay. I did mention Matt Piscatella for the April sales data. I do also want to mention we have some initial data coming in for PS5 hardware in the US with those new prices in effect. Hardware spending in April increased 34%. That was primarily driven by Switch 2. Everything else was down. PS5 in particular, down 30% compared to the same time last year. And after 66 months on the market, PS5 is still tracking 2% ahead of PS4 on a launch-aligned basis. Now, I did ask Matt about this too in our interview. I'll just tell you right away. So his answer to this, because at first I was like, that doesn't seem that low. Only 30%. This console is in its 6th calendar year. That was going to happen no matter what. So he was telling me, he's like, well, actually that tracking included people buying PS5s in mass before the price. And it also includes games. It includes consoles that were still sold at the old price because that didn't happen right away. And you might have noticed this on retailer sites. It's not like April 2nd, everything was $650. No, retailers bought consoles and sat on them at the old price. They had to exhaust that stock before buying new ones at the new price. So he was pretty much saying May and June is what you're going to want to watch to see a big, what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's going to be tough. So I guess the one thing that might kind of bail them out with this is, well, one, Call of Duty just got announced. So like that's as much as I know people are like, who cares about Call of Duty? It's a mainstream game. It's going to do well. Like, terrible for Call of Duty where they're like Red Alert, 15 million sold in the year. It's insane to think that way. That's worst case for them. So, and it's Modern Warfare 4, so it looks like Call of Duty, like we'd expect Call of Duty to look like. So that's something that'll help them, I'm sure. But GTA 6 is coming, and if there really is a 60 FPS mode for the PS5 Pro, like people are going to spend $1,000 if they have to for that in the game. Just flat out they will, because that and GTA Online, people get really invested with that mode. So I do think they're going to go through it still in some of these months because it's just, man, price sensitivity is at an all-time high right now. That's it. It gets harder to sell something the more expensive it gets, especially in year 6, because the technology isn't new, it's old tech.
John Pony Up. You have to pay.
That's how it is.
Gonna have to pay some big top dollar.
I already got my P. I got that. This thing's appreciating in value, man. People are buying Bitcoin earlier this year. I bought a PS5 Pro and I'm the one making out right now.
It is insane that you could sell consoles and probably be ahead.
Yep. I mean, think about the
As
launch
nuts.
PS5 we bought with the disc drive when it was $500. I mean, hey, if you bought the digital PS5, that was the move apparently, because that thing went up $200 so far this generation. It's jumped 50%. That's crazy.
Damn, John, you're impressing me with those numbers. That's some
Well,
quick
technically this isn't the one that's has the detachable disc drive, but even so, I mean, every PS5 is basically, if you bought a PS5 in year 1 or year 2, congratulations, you've appreciated in value with that.
Yeah.
Crazy
times that we're living in. All right. I mean, we're talking about pricing stuff. Why don't we just jump to the where'd I write it down here?
Can I tell you how my 2 Steam Decks have jumped in price as well? They've appreciated in value significantly?
Talk about your stonks. Oh, here it is. All right. So this is obviously like a wider economic discussion, but I mean, yeah, we're, as John mentioned,
gave away a Steam Deck at too many games last year. I should have kept that thing apparently.
Oh, that's right. You did do that.
I did.
Wait, but was that an LCD model? The LCD models didn't.
It was an LCD, yeah.
Anyway,
a very rare model.
For the OLED model price increase, it's in effect 512 gigs for an OLED went from 550 to 590. 1 terabyte model went from $650 to $950. And John, am I right about this? There was a restock at those prices, sold out.
Yeah, so we have the Steam Deck OLED 512 is $790, and yes, it is sold out. I question a few things. One, I question how much they even brought back in stock, because they must have known this is a big number. I don't know how many to sell. And 2, I think there were a number of people, scalpers, buying these things. I do. The refurbished Steam Deck showed up in stock and was gone in 10 minutes. And that was the very cheap one. And I think scalpers absolutely annihilated that listing. I'm still curious about this one as well, because it's still the cheapest version of it is the 512 OLED, and it's gone. But I see it on eBay popping up, and it's going for like $1,000 or more now.
So when you say eBay, though, is there a noticeable surge in listings?
Yeah, a lot of them are popping up. Okay. And it's kind of a shame, because if Valve had just done nothing, like literally nothing, and said, you know what, we're just not going to stock it, it doesn't make sense, the used market wouldn't have jumped like it did the past couple days. So it actually would still be I'm not going to say it's affordable, but there was at least an in to get, say, a 512 gigabyte OLED for $400 to $500. Like that was at least, it was at least possible. And that's much, much more able to be recommended than $800. I mean, come on, like, what is this? What? Massive reality check, though, I will say, because that means that everyone has raised prices, some multiple times. I mean, this is the biggest one. It's 40 to 45% is what they raise prices for both models total. And that's more than Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo have done, even with multiple price increases. They usually do a little bit at a time if they can. Sometimes it's like $150 for that the PS5 Pro or whatever, right? It was quite a bit. But the PS5 Pro is now also cheaper than the 1 terabyte OLED or whatever. So I have serious concerns right now about the Steam machine. I kind of feel like that thing's going to be $900 best case scenario. And I don't think it's worth bringing to market if it's $1,000, like at all. Just don't even do it. Don't even do it. But here's the thing that really annoys me about this situation. I kind of think a new Half-Life game is tied up with the Steam machine, and I almost wonder if it's Half-Life 3, and that'd be a real shame if we were supposed to have had that like 2 months ago, and they're holding on to it because that's going to be the big thing that tries to get people to buy the Steam machine. They bundle it in. And I mean, it would still be available, of course, on Steam, but like that's a big thing. It's like, hey, we're also packaging it in. You really want this game. There's a value there of $60 or $70 that you can, in your mind, try to justify why it's $800 to $900. Yeah. I think this has incredible ramifications, by the way, for Sony.
Incredible ramifications. Wow.
I have my concern for the PS6 like skyrocketed after this.
So why from the deck in particular?
So I'll tell you why. what is different about Valve from Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo?
I know your answer. I already have a rebuttal.
Okay.
So what's deeply concerning is that they're private. They're a
Yes,
private company.
they're a private company.
Yeah.
And
so to do it that high as a private company is pretty alarming. So my head already ran through this. It's like, okay, they're private. That's pretty nuts. The deck they do subsidize, I believe, right? They subsidize that. That's like a core gaming device. Because that's the thing about, well, this is the thing about the Steam machine is that they can't subsidize that. They've already like pretty much answered that. They can't subsidize that because it's a computer. Like Enterprise could just buy them then.
Yes.
If it's they're not going to buy Steam games, right? So that's like an upside down model. The deck, I think they subsidize that. Now, if they don't, that helps my point more. However, they don't have economies of scale. This is always the big misnomer about that device. They don't sell the volume that Nintendo or Sony does. So I find that still, it's so tough making this like bull case for PS6 because I know the damn thing's going to be pricey as hell. The point I always make is I'm not sure it's going to be as much as people think, but go ahead.
My concern is the specs that are being floated for the PS6 hit on the exact like bottleneck right now for this. It's DRAM, and what's the number of RAM that keeps getting thrown around for this thing? You know,
what is it? 36 for?
It's like I think it's 30 gigabytes. 30? Is what I see get thrown around. 30.
Oh, 30 to 36. 30 would probably be the way they're going to take it now, minimum.
But I have to imagine it's going to be fast memory, obviously video RAM, and the RAM you would go with like in 2027 to then think, okay, this is going to be we could say an 8-year system or something, maybe longer. I assume it's GDDR7. I don't know how they source 30 gigabytes of GDDR7, 1 terabyte of what should be like the rumors for the SSD in it are 3 times faster than what's in the PS5 now. And then a fully revamped chip with AMD that would also work to support a lot of the AI stuff they want to do. I don't know how they make that work for, and I hate to say it because this would be a subsidized price. Under $1,000.
That's where I disagree. I don't think they can touch. Well, I think everyone would agree on that. I don't think they will touch 1,000 because they have the economies of scale. So, I mean, if we assume they do even remotely the same volume that PS4 and 5 did, which we know consoles are incredibly successful, they should be able to lock in good pricing. More to that point, they should have locked that in by now. I mean, surely like those agreements are in. They've or soon, maybe soon-ish. These are long-term agreements. So it's tough to say. I mean, it's really tough to say. Like, because the Pro right now is at 900, and that's a low volume console that is not subsidized in all likelihood. We assume it's not a subsidy console.
Right.
So if we think higher volume and they're willing to take a loss, I'm not convinced it'll touch 1,000. Mind you, I could eat my hat in a year from now, but that's just where that's where I'm sitting.
Because my concern is everything I look around and see, I think everyone's trying to figure out what kind of pricing these companies are looking at. And every time people take a guess at it is just completely off. And we almost keep expecting it to be lower than it is. But so Nintendo, we know, is raising the price significantly in Japan, actually. It's going to be more expensive than the PS5 in terms of Japan-only systems. And in the US, it's going to go up to 500. And they've already said, hey, that's actually not going to be enough to cover it completely. So I actually here's the thing, okay, Ryan, this is why I'm saying the PS6 at $1,000, and I hate this, because I know people are not going to like it when they make this announcement. I kind of think the optimistic outlook for PS6 right now in terms of pricing is $900. That's optimistic. I think $1,000 is it feels realistic right now and I'll tell you why. I think the PS5 is getting another price increase. after the holidays. I think the PS5 disc drive is going up to $700.
Yeah, well, that would be tough. That'd be really tough.
I think the PS5 Pro is going to be $950.
I think like for as long as we've been discussing this topic now, I've been moving higher, just I think
Yeah.
slower than everybody else.
I mean,
Like, if
that's
you're-
what I've been doing, right? Did we start the conversation at like, 600-ish?
Yeah, exactly. That was my point. Like I think over a year ago, I was feeling like they probably want to get to 600. Now at that time, that would have been the PS3 number all over again.
Mhm.
But like that seemed like maybe that, and then I creeped it up to like maybe 7. Now I'm creeping it up to like 800. I'm still not at the 1,000 number yet personally.
I think you're the most optimistic though, but you at 800 then at being really optimistic.
Yeah.
That concerns me. I'm like, man, and I understand people are saying it can't be triple. I see that it can't be $1,000. That would kill the console on arrival. Here's what I think the strategy would be, because I understand it's crazy to think, oh, they would show up with $1,000 system. I kind of think it might go the way of the PS3. All right. The PS3 shows up at $600, which was obscene. Everyone knows that, right? It was like, this is ridiculous. And then what do they do a year or so later? They're able to get the price down, remove features, but they still sold PS3 systems. The enthusiasts bought them. I think enthusiasts will still buy the PS6 at $1,000, but it will tail off quickly if they can't get the price down.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. It's funny because it's like, what do they do? So they did this with PlayStation 5, but they didn't pass any of those savings to you. When they removed a shitload of copper. From the I don't know. I suppose that would be a very similar play. PS3 was always weird, man, because that thing was just over-engineered from day one.
Right. But they rolled into the idea of, we'll have Blu-ray in this thing. We're going to do the cell process. We're going to have so many ports you won't know what to do with it. They had 2 LAN ports originally. It's going to be a route or 3. It's going to be a router. It's going to be 2 ways. It was crazy, right? They cut back on it, but it still came out at 600. But it was highly advanced, and it tapped into a lot of very expensive tech to do it. And just by the way of the market, Sony is going to show up and be like, how do we get the amount of RAM we need here? Because think about it. When we talk about 30 gigabytes GDDR7, dude, that puts it in territory of like a 5090 right now. Look how much a 5090 costs. You talk about people buying Valve's console, their Steam machine, for the use of in enterprise settings and stuff, scenarios. It's like, man, the PS6 could come in at 800, or how we were really up to 700, but have like the amount of RAM as a $3,000 video card. Like I'm struggling to try to connect the dots here with the parts they would be using. That's my thing. I don't know. I'm not sure how it happens.
It's that bull case that consoles have historically always been. I mean, if we talk about parts and humoring PC equivalent parts, not even equivalent, because obviously that's much higher end, but consoles punch above their weight.
They do.
That's always been a downstream effect to bill of material.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying the thing's going to be cheap, but like what people were saying in the chat, right? Like, oh, they can't do this, and people are saying, well, they will. I think the main point of why people tend to say that, and I'm in agreement here, which is the reason why they can't do it is because at a certain point it no longer makes sense. Like they are like that now gets to a different category of public company wants to not have their product die. So when push comes to shove, there is a price that's too high, and that's what we mean when we say they can't do that. Now, what is scary is that let's say they actually do it, we're all wrong, and the thing still sells. That's the scary part about all this, is that consoles are leaning towards more affluent families.
Yeah.
So, that might be the most shocking thing. A year from now, it's over 1,000, sells out. Every time they restock it, it still sells out. Who knows?
Well, what if the GTA 6 shows up with a 60 FPS mode on the PS5 Pro, and the PS5 Pro does gangbusters at $900. What kind of signal does that send to Sony? Just out of curiosity.
The signal, the signal is going to be driven by what sells. So that's the argument, though, is that if it doesn't, that's the signal.
No, you're right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But then they'd have to do there must be something we don't know with this system for them to get there, like a redesign. There must be something they figured out when it comes to the amount of RAM they need. I don't know. To me, so the idea of these consoles, right? It's always a give and take. Something on the console is weaker, for example, like the CPU. We always talk about the CPU is like it's this massive GPU duct taped to these Jaguar cores or something, right? Or at Microsoft's side with the Xbox One, we're just going to use slower RAM and try to do like this ESRAM combination, and that ended up biting them in the butt like the whole way through the generation. It was 900p versus 1080p the whole way. I'm trying to think of what they would give up exactly to make this work, and it might be, you know what, we can't put that much RAM in a system because we don't want to lose $300 per console. We're just not doing that. So I'm trying to think of the most expensive thing, and that would be it. On the flip side, somewhat concerned about the handheld, but here's the thing with their handheld, man. The handheld market for these PC handheld systems it's so in their favor, it's ridiculous. Do you see the price of some of these things? It's like if they show up with an $800 PlayStation 6 portable, they would technically be in the okay zone compared to how they would have been years ago with the thing. You know, the ROG Xbox Ally X is desperately holding on to $1,000, like desperately. I think that thing's going up to like 1,200 or something. So, and it's the PlayStation one should be more capable than that when it releases. So I think if they can get that thing out at like 800, it'll have less RAM, obviously, than what the PS6 will have. A cut down chip. I actually think that one will work out for them.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were saying before too, is that device is kind of the more exciting thing to us right now anyway. Yes. I'm not sure what the install base makeup for that would be, and we don't even know if Sony will disclose a ratio per se. I'm inclined to think they probably won't do that, but I'm sure that would help.
What about that? I hate to say they're going to do a 3 SKU approach. What if they really do have like the PS6 is actually their Pro system, and they're launching that right away, but they do have their Canis console thing. Do you think they would do that?
The rumors we've heard so far were apparently unconvincing. I don't know if we're just humoring it. I mean, I think that would probably, in a way, make sense, but there's still an onus on Sony to make that base console sound compelling. Yeah. You know, how do you make that sound cool compared to a PlayStation 5 right now? Or a PlayStation 5 Pro. We know it has like a massive jump in RT performance and path tracing, but people aren't really oohed and awed like that for, lighting in games. It's important. I think visually it does make the game stand out, but I'm not sure if that really is the big leap people are looking for. So
it has to be this AI stuff. I don't know. That's the thing. It's always going to be, how do they sell it?
And that's what I always say is sensory experiences, the UI. That's what you're paywalling. You're paywalling a really nice controller. You're paywalling probably a new UI with really cool new features, and but it's their responsibility to make it sound compelling.
Yeah, I hate to be like the person who's going, man, it might be 1,000, but man, it might be 1,000. I don't know what to tell you. That's just I didn't think we'd get here with a console, but based on the market and how I think prices are just going to go up again, the outlook for this whole DRAM thing is I just don't think it's going to get better in the next 2 years. I do think in like 3 or 4 years, people are saying that China might get involved with RAM supply. And if some of these companies are really spinning up more plants to make memory in 3 years, we should have just more supply. But man, these AI data centers are just cutting into it. And once you remove like 40% of the global DRAM supply, and you're just leaving everybody to fight over what's left, and Apple is like, we'll just pay 150% more than everyone, so we'll buy it all or most of it. It's a fight, man. It's a fight.
There's not there's not another side to this that looks optimistic, or it's certainly not imminent.
I don't know,
That's-
because
that's the
if
scary
AI
part.
collapsed, everyone's AI to collapse, right? It'll alleviate a lot of the RAM issues. I think we have way more issues if that happened outside it. Like, we're talking about game consoles, man, that would have like serious economic ramifications. So I don't know. I mean, look, here's the thing. You know what? Here's some good news. If you have a PS5 right now already, I think you're good for the next 10 years. I'll be real. I think the PS5 is going to be supported until, I'll say, 2035. I think you're good.
2030. So from 2020 to 2030. Yeah, that's the same timeline as PS4.
I think Call of Duty will be there, and I don't think it'll look crunchy like it does on the PS4. Like, they're getting rid of the PS4 and the Xbox One with Warzone. I think the PS5, because it doesn't have that mechanical hard drive, will actually be somewhat capable even in year 12.
Yeah, I would agree.
Mhm.
For sure.
So
It'll be a really interesting transition. I'm very curious to see how it plays out. So we'll be there. We'll be there watching it all happen. Bullshitting online on a Thursday night.
hang tight. Just the PS5.
Hang
Hold
tight.
on to that. Hopefully the liquid metal doesn't dry out in the middle.
Let's try and move. You want to cover up some of the chats we got going on here, the super chats, before we do another story?
Yeah, I have some here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Bespoke says, thoughts on the possibility of seeing the first trailer for the God of War TV show, followed by an official announcement of the Bloodborne movie and an announcement that Bloodborne remake is currently in development. Holst out.
He does. He drops the
I
mic.
like it. I like the use of
Then-
emoji. Added points there. Plus points on that. Okay.
That might buy him some brownie points with the community. Maybe not many, but some.
Summer Game Fest could be a trailer maybe for God of War.
If there's ever going to be like a PlayStation Productions trailer, I think it would be SGF.
Yeah, that'd be cool though. Just at least see it, because dude, after that image, I got to see the thing in motion, please.
Yeah,
Please.
for sure.
Colson says, you both give me so much amazing content. I'm forever grateful. Thanks for the hours of entertainment. P.S. Instead of letting my friends borrow my copy of Saros, I'm making them buy it. Sony, do not touch Housemark.
Doing God's work out here.
I think Housemark will be around. I don't think they're going anywhere, because I think they do present a unique development process that Sony, obviously, like, for example, Media Molecule. People question why they're around because they make games no one else really does. So there you go. Also,
Well
they win
said.
BAFTAs, you know? So.
Well said.
Johnny says Stellar Blade 2. Oh, you know what? If Sony does shut down Housemark, though, you're going to see Ryan with the craziest thumbnail ever. He will. I have to imagine that will be what gets Ryan calling Herman Holst's job.
I've already been on record saying, like, I don't like the guy. We should probably move on from him.
But would you, if that happened, will you immediately show me like, Herman Holst got to go? Why is the first thing you say, like, immediately 10 seconds in, this guy's got to go?
Dude, this is like the point I make is, like, if it's not Herman, it'd probably be somebody else. They just, the company evaluates things in a very different way nowadays. But I don't think Housemark is going anywhere. Arguably they need labor in not California.
Right.
So I think Housemark is okay for now.
Stellar Blade 2. Hey,
Yeah.
Shift Up is getting ready to announce that thing. So somewhere.
I did write it down, but we can mention it real quick that, yeah, Stellar Blade 2, they're going to announce more about the sequel sometime in the coming year. What's noteworthy is that, I mean, they've gone public. They brought in a studio. They're not going to be needing any PlayStation money anymore. So
Okay.
it'll probably be a multi-plat game.
Yeah, that's the idea, is that they're going.
Yeah.
I think they're going to expand as far as they can with it. I wouldn't be shocked if they try to get Stellar Blade onto phones or something.
Like, easily phones. You kidding me?
Yeah. Thought Gardner says, I'm late. Have we acknowledged Ryan's drip?
We did it right. We did it right away. Yes.
Thought Gardner, shout out.
John did. Thank you.
Toasty says, all right, guys, I keep getting Spawncast episode 1 and LTPS episode 1 recommended me on YouTube. What are you two plotting?
Has that happened to you, John? Episode 1 was spiking?
No, it wasn't.
No, mine was.
Really?
Dude,
That's funny.
my 2012 episode 1 of LTPS, where I had an actual hairline, that shit has gone from like 10,000 views to like 35 or something like that.
The good days.
Yeah,
iPod Nano in the background.
Oh, I had like the 2010, like iPad box, the iPhone
Yes, sir.
boxes, PS3 XMB, and there was no PS4 yet. Oh yeah.
The good day, the quiet days.
I don't know why that gets recommended to people.
Johnny says Ryan looking like the coolest plug who drives an M4 and is cool to front you a quarter.
Yeah, but shut up though. You didn't get it from me.
The Spoke says State of Play open with Astro Kart. Oh, second game Astro Party, third game Astro Bros, and Astro RPG as the closer. Drop curtain, holst out. Boom. I like it. Use of emoji again. Very nice.
Maybe he should start doing mic drop moments. He kind of had one with Hideo Kojima for Fizzant.
That's true. No, that was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah. Toasty says, do you think Persona 6 will be released on PS4, PS5, and PS6? Sega still releases on PS4. Also, Spawn, have the kids played Lego Batman? Not yet, but they will. Because I had to get 007 all wrapped up. So I will be playing Lego Batman with them because that has drop-in, drop-out co-op.
Oh, how is that?
I've played it for, I think, a total of 3 hours now after finishing 007. And it's been pretty good. The opening it's like training kind of where he's like going off to the mountains to learn the be a ninja and stuff, and now I'm back into Gotham and running around Commissioner Gordon. But I will say this, visually speaking, it is a very I'll say sharp looking game right now.
Yeah.
So I'm at 60 frames, the whole thing. It's it kind of feels like a lot of stuff is coming out of the Arkham series for this, which is cool, combat and everything.
Well, Toasty gave us a good segue here, so we'll jump to the Persona 6 news. We did have some images leak from stagefirst.com, and the leaker, and I'm going to probably not pronounce this right, John, but I'm going to go for it. Zhonghong Shu. Apparently, the game will feature a blonde male and a girl with red and black hair. These images are apparently real, by the way. There's another image that came out that was AI generated. Over on Reset Era, the Sega and Atlas leaker, Lilo pointed out that the AI image is obviously fake. All the other ones are real. So we apparently are seeing genuine images of the next Persona game, which is set to release in 2027. Now, I will say for Toasty's question, well, they didn't do Metaphor on PS4, did they? Or am I remembering that?
No, that was just the current gen.
Yeah. I feel like they would actually not do PlayStation 4. It's too late now. Most public, this is the point I make. Like, Call of Duty was actually the only one left. Everyone has left PlayStation 4. So I'm inclined.
I think Fortnite's the last holdout, I guess, at this point, isn't it? That's it. It's Fortnite
for a live service game.
That's it.
Yeah. So I'm inclined to say it would just be PS5, PSX.
If they released it last year, I would say there might have been a chance that they try to squeeze it on the PS4. But I think it's just, I think the moment's passed for that. And I mean, let's be real. Next year, the word is second half of 2027. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to release the PS5 version. And the following year, there's going to be a PS6 version that you cannot upgrade to. You have to buy it again. That's what's going to, or 2 years later or something. That's what's going to happen. They're going to do some other edition and they'll sell it to you again.
Metaphor was on PS4.
Oh, was it? I thought it was just on the PS5. Oh, it was on the PS4. Thank you, Toasty.
I thought it was on PlayStation 5. Well, either way, I'm inclined to think it wouldn't, but
oh, there you go. Now maybe it is on PS4.
Yeah. They could surprise us. You never know.
I mean, if I see a PS4 logo in 2027, man, my gosh, it's time to leave that 5,400 RPM hard drive behind, people.
I mean, I don't know if that game would really be that problematic on PS4, but I think they should drop it.
Well, I mean, I just think it's probably time, because then you also have to still run support for the PS4 went into 2028.
Well, I mean, they shut down like certain API things for it behind the scenes. So the only thing Sony's really doing now is just letting people submit PS4 games, but there's like certain backend systems that they can't even use anymore on it for certain developers. I should clarify. The Persona 6 leak itself, though, yeah, I mean, I would hope that we're seeing this game soon.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
We have next week, right? The run of events.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I'm not sure if that's like this leak implies like, oh, we're seeing it soon. Because the other big Persona 4 or Persona news rather is that Revival was rated in Korea.
Yes.
You don't rate games unless they're close to coming out. So, that is Xbox still like really close with Sega and Atlas right now. So
I assume it's at the Xbox event if they're going to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I would think that you'll probably see Revival there. which is good because they might put a date on it, you know?
I don't mind them doing Persona 4 Revival with a date. And then also, hey, guess what? Persona 6 reveal. I don't mind that.
I'd like that. I'd take it.
That's fine because they can put up the year 2027 and people be like, okay, cool. That's 2027. I mean, think about it. Next week, we're like, oh, okay, that's in 6 months, you know, could be out within a year, basically, if they go first half of 27, although the word is second half. But I don't think people would mind finally getting the Persona 6 reveal and being like, okay, whatever's next year, at least we got that.
I'm going to include this just for me, but there was also a rating in Korea for Lego Skylines from Paradox Interactive.
For you, you're a Skylines person.
Oh, got over,
interesting.
I think 200 hours on City Skylines.
Yeah. Huh. I think that's an interesting pairing, though, right? Lego.
Oh, well, perfect pairing. It's bricks. Yeah. Build a goddamn city out of Legos. Let's go. Okay. I love city builders, so that one was for me. Like, hell yeah, let's go.
Okay. I mean, back in the day, what was the old game I played on my computer? The Lego game. What was that game?
Oh,
You'd
Lego
skateboard around in the beginning. Oh man, that's gonna bother me. It was like, I don't think it was Legoland, was it? What was the game back in the day on that? Might have been Windows 98. Was it Legoland?
Shut up, old man.
Was it? Was that what it might have been Legoland. Lego Island. Shout out to Minute Night.
You just left out the is.
That I remember I had that on disc and it didn't work on my PC and I had to try to sneak and use it on my dad's work PC. He's just now finding out if he's watching this that I played Lego Island on there.
Lego Island.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. I remember that game. It ran on my old computer, but it couldn't display any of the graphics at first. So it was like all just white boxes and stuff. But my dad had got the I think it was a Pentium 2 back then. And I was able to play it on that. That was before the day of video cards and the like. So it was those are the good old days. I had the CD and everything for that, the disc. Man. Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know why
you're looking it up now.
I think it's just because I was thinking, oh yeah, Lego or City Skylines Lego. You're talking about building, city and stuff. I mean, it's hard to get these games to even work anymore. Look at this game. This game looks crazy.
You're going to make me Google this. I don't remember it at all.
You don't remember this game? It was on Windows. Yeah, 1997.
Okay.
The old days.
Yeah, that's cool. You could probably run this in a virtual machine or something, couldn't you?
The 1998 decompilation for Lego Island reaches 97%. That was a year ago. Is it done? People may have done a whole decompilation for this thing. It's at 99.51% accuracy.
Hold it.
It's 100%.
Hold it. Lego Island 2, the Brickster's Revenge was a PlayStation 1 game.
I remember that one too, but I didn't get it on the PS1. I don't even think I rented it back then, but I remember seeing it. I just remember this first one that I played on my PC or attempted to play.
Wow, it's a rare PS1 game.
Is it?
Man. $60 CIB. Was the first one on PS1? No,
no, it was only Windows. That's how I see this decompilation. I'm like, hold on a minute. You load it up on Windows right now. Oh, it's getting decompiled for Mac as well. There you go, Ryan. You're in.
Shut up, John.
Dude, come on, let's go.
Oh shit.
Here it is, the first Lego game on PC.
All right, John, we gotta pull it back. You want to talk about Destiny?
I was talking about Lego Island. No, that's why we talk about Destiny. It's a Lego Island podcast now.
Yeah, I know. It's real. I'm looking at fucking CIB copies on eBay. All right. Big news. Destiny 2 support is ending next month. Bungie has confirmed after 9 years, Destiny 2 will receive its final content drop, Monument of Triumph. After that, they'll stop active development for the game. It will, of course, still be available to play for the foreseeable future, but there's no more content or support planned. Bungie had this lengthy blog post going over the final update. But from here, they say they're going to be incubating their next projects. Then we had some reports, Paul Tassi, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, Destiny 3, never greenlit, not happening. Apparently, that's just too much money. And we're talking like 9 figures. It'd be a boatload of money. So apparently that was never approved. They tried something Destiny related. Paul says it was maybe a sort of reset for Destiny 2 was being floated around, maybe renaming it or something. Various different, content or not patches, but bigger expansions for it that just did not fully come to fruition. And apparently most of the Bungie staff were completely unaware of this until the announcement was official. But big change for Bungie, because now a large majority of that staff is going to be sticking to a game that is right now struggling to meet profitability. So I don't know what you make of this news here, John.
I think it just completely cements how poor of an acquisition this was. I mean, we already kind of know that because they've admitted it by writing down significant portions of the value of Bungie, but this just cements like I think I'm most impressed by the fact that they had no plan. Like there's zero plan. And it's because it's so obvious to all. And look, I get the idea of Sony. I mean, if I'm Sony right now, I do have pause giving Bungie hundreds of millions of dollars to make something. I will admit that. I'm like, we're actually maybe thinking about just starting to just siphon developers from you guys and making little studios inside that we can keep an eye on inside PlayStation, as opposed to here's $400 million. We'll see in a couple of years for Destiny 3. It's like, I don't know if I trust Bungie with that right now. Although if there's one thing, if I'm Sony, that I would even think about greenlighting, it probably is Destiny 3. But when would it be ready? Probably 5 years from now. Are they going to hang out around with Marathon for 5 years? I don't think so. I mean, I see Marathon, and here's the other problem that they're running into with this game now, and it makes it so difficult. Dude, the Destiny players hate Marathon now. They're so mad at this game. And like, I see that there were clips of, big people on YouTube and just social media who are like, I hate Marathon or what, like they're really mad at this thing. And so now you have the Destiny 2 player base that is mad at Marathon because it's apparently pulling away resources that they think could have been used to continue Destiny 2 development. I think Destiny 2, my thing with live service games is I don't mind if they end. Eventually they're going to, but if you're going to show up and announce to a player base that, even though they've had their ups and downs, still genuinely love the lore or the franchise, if they announced Destiny 2 development's coming to an end, but guess what? When we did the final shape, which apparently was like their true conclusion that most people look at for the game, they're like, that's where it was good. We understood that was kind of the end. And they're like, hey, we're working on Destiny 3, but we have to move off of Destiny 2 completely for that. I think people would have been like, awesome, great, really excited. That's just not the case. They basically went, hey, we're going to work on Marathon now, and it just doesn't appeal to the Destiny fans. And then the report comes out that they're expecting significant layoffs because they didn't plan ahead at all, and they don't have a project, and they're trying to get something greenlit, and they're pitching projects. And all I think about while I'm hearing this is Bluepoint was trying to pitch projects, couldn't figure it out, and Bluepoint's gone now. So I understand why people are looking at Bungie like with the side eye, because they went from, what were they, 1,300 developers at their peak or something like that when they were making Destiny 2. Now they're down to 800. The word is they could be cut in half down to 400. They're not working in the right direction. They haven't been since they were purchased. So I guess the winners are the people leading the way for Bungie when they sold to Sony and then got out of there.
I'm inclined to agree. I'm surprised Destiny 3 or like some sort of Destiny thing wasn't like I don't want to say locked in, but it's funny. There was like this spat on Blue Sky with Jason Schreier, and like somebody was responding, complaining about how Naughty Dog gets to in theory spend all this money and spend 5 years making single player games that don't come out or something. And Jason was like, no, PlayStation has a problem with that too. Not as in they're mad at Naughty Dog, just that they have a problem with, spending all this money and it not going anywhere. But that person did make a great point, which is, how does Bungie not get to do another Destiny with a built-in fan base? I get the logic there. I mean, as far as live service gambles are concerned, I don't know. I feel like if you did commit the 9 figures, let's say it's 300 to $500 million. Yeah, huge gamble. I mean, that's like one of the few times where you can bet that kind of money and day one you're gonna have like a huge turnout. Like the next Destiny.
Yep.
And if they carefully craft it properly, and really address major concerns, which I'm not going to pretend like I know Destiny that well. The number one problem I hear for like new players is just that it's tough to get in. So just get the messaging right, make sure that it's got great player onboarding. I'm actually quite surprised that there was nothing Destiny related in the pipeline. Because now it's like, yeah, they're going to be incubating. That basically just means we're going to be pitching for who knows how long until we can settle on something. Like, yeah, significant layoffs, no shit, because you've got like 800 staff members. They're not all working on Marathon. So I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's actually impressive the level of incompetence. Like it actually isn't. It's amazing. Which is a shame because Bungie is, I think, very different than I remember them back during the Halo days. But it's it's hard to believe that a multi-billion-dollar company running the show would be like, all right, Destiny 2's gone. Now what? And there's like, I don't know. That's got to hit. That's so Marathon. Yeah. This is the next big thing up. And they're creating content for it. I don't know what the turnaround is. The only thing I've seen floated was like PvE. So they're going to kind of turn it into Destiny. That's all I'm gathering from that is let's try to work this and stuff from Destiny into what was originally supposed to be this hardcore extraction shooter. Now we'll do PvE and stuff, and that's.
Well, we made that case though. I mean, that is what you should do with Marathon.
It is.
We can't go, back and forth on like, oh, they should do PvE and then say, oh, what are they going to do? Add PvE? Like, yeah.
Right. But the idea then when we were talking about it was, oh, add PvE, but don't add it at the expense of what should be the obvious thing of Destiny 3. Don't, because they're going to lay a bunch of people off because they don't have Destiny 3 that they're working on right now. And they got to figure out what to do. I did see some people, and I think this was something that I think Paul Tassi put an article out that they did pitch this kind of a reboot for Destiny 2 a bit, because they already have a lot of the assets. And that was the biggest criticism right now around Destiny 2 is they've vaulted content and they've kind of locked it away. And I think it had to do with file size constraints or something like that. And I went to download Destiny 2. I was like, let me check in on this thing now because all this in the news, they're going to do their final update. Let me see what's going on. That thing started downloading. It was like 180 gigabytes or something. And I said, what is this? Why?
That's like half a Warzone.
But that's my thought is that's without the content that they removed. I'm like, man, what would this have been if they had left? So that might be part of it as well, because people forget this was a PS4 game.
Oh yeah.
Like we never had a PS5 version, I guess, of it. Like they didn't develop it specifically for the PS5. It was always like, okay, PS4 game, we'll kind of move it up and do updates for the PS5. I'd have been curious to see what they could have done with a system like that has an SSD right out of the gate and a live service game. So hard to say what happens to them. I think a Destiny Classic, as people were pitching, would make the most sense right now because it should have a shorter turnaround time than Destiny 3. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe Sony's even looking at them like, it's Marathon or bust for you guys. And maybe if you come up with a cool incubation project, we'll see what we can do, and then we'll spin you guys off into another Team LFG.
It's weird. In a weird way, I do also hope, like, all right, well, if they get to do something different, I always like new IP, but I am surprised that Destiny wasn't the sort of like locked in, let's go for it kind of thing, because it's very established. It has an audience. I thought that person made a great point. It's like, oh, well, if you're going to make a big bet, why not make the bet on something that you're going to actually find players with? That wasn't locked in with Marathon.
I mean, when it comes to live service, do we really see a lot of new IPs now break onto the scene and go crazy. I mean, Arc Raiders, I guess. A lot of like, especially with right now. So I mean, think about the one game that has worked well so far is Helldivers 2. And I know you've mentioned it's technically a new IP.
It's a new IP.
You know what I mean? But
yeah.
the idea is it is technically a sequel, you know, and so I think about established franchises that they have that they've kind of shied away from. I mean, The Last of Us Online was right there. People continue, by the way, to talk about this thing. I see it on social media. Like, oh yeah, I did work on that. I should find that. I just saw it in passing when I was scrolling through.
I think it was Del Walker.
Okay. And and they're just like, yeah, it would have been good. It's like, man, I know that game would have been good, but I understand Naughty Dog's take of we don't want to support it. It's like the bets that they've made on live service just haven't been great. And, you know, that's well documented. This feels like it would have been a layup if they could trust Bungie. All I read from this is they can't trust Bungie enough to throw them $500 million to make Destiny 3. Yeah.
Well, the other thing I wonder is who would they trust with 500 million for a live service game?
Oh, for a live service game.
Probably no. If Bungie can't get it, nobody can. That's the way I think of it.
Yeah.
Because even single player, they don't want to touch that money for even single player games. Arguably, if it's half a billion, like it has to be a live service game, and it has to be comfortable enough for them to be like, okay, we're gonna make our money back big time. It's got financial upside. If anything, if Bungie still has some autonomy, God forbid, spit out a single player game. Fuck it. Get a team going. Get 100 people. Right? They got 800 staff. You know how many are on Marathon? Spin up another team. Do a single player game. Allegedly, some of those team members tried pitching single player, like P. Parsons. You know, or whoever was the lead at the time, you know, I mean, This is where SIE has to do what SIE does best. Foster your talent. You bought the studio. You're pretty pissed off that it didn't work out the way you wanted it to. You know,
you're right.
Let them do a single player game.
I honestly, they should probably just do something in the Destiny universe, because think about all of Destiny 2, all the assets they've created, the game mechanics, all this stuff. I feel like they could probably reuse it, and we've seen it in these follow-up sequels, whether it's Horizon or God of War. They reuse the stuff, you know, so why not do that? And maybe you can, I don't want to say fast track, because it's still going to be years. Get it out faster than what Destiny 3 would. But I like the idea of a single player game and just trying to let them do something new in a way. I mean, a single player game to them is new because they kept over and over again. No. We got to work on Destiny 2.
Dude, let them do like an 8-hour campaign single player FPS game. Let them do some shit like that again.
I like it.
Come on, like, and sell it for $50.
$50, yeah. Like, I'm thinking of remember the Mafia Old Country came out, and that was something like that, right? And they went, well, we priced it accordingly, and people seem to like it, even though it was a very straightforward linear experience. I don't mind those kind of games that come out occasionally where they go, we'll see what happens. Low risk, you know? But people are going to get laid off, and Bungie's going to get even smaller no matter what, because it's kind of the way it's going to go.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. And hey, man, good luck to Marathon. That's going to be such a difficult game to turn around. I think they're going to get a full year out of it. And I think that's when they're going to reevaluate on the year anniversary of the game. And that would be the beginning of 27. So at that point, they'll probably look at it and they're like, hey, have we seen any significant player retention acquisition? And if the answer is no, I kind of feel like they start thinking their exit strategy on that game.
Well, John, here's the thing. You bring up a great point, which is how long will that game be supported? I can tell you for Destruction All-Stars, that game somehow made it 6 years. That's our next news story. People might remember this game. It was initially revealed as a PlayStation 5 exclusive. During the original live stream, they tried to sell you this game for $70, vehicular combat with parkour elements from Lucid Games, PlayStation Publishing. That was actually their first, live service game attempt on PlayStation 5. It got one season, did not find a player base after launching on PlayStation Plus after a small delay. That game has been delisted and it's getting a shutdown notice. November 25th is where, boom, it's done. Won't be able to play that game anymore. The other thing about this game, John, is that it's been broken for 2 years. So the game wasn't even working. Sony sent out emails saying it was because of ongoing technical issues. So the game is staying offline. But that shit didn't work for 2 years. I tried playing that game like last year and really investigating it. Matchmaking has been broken since 2024. So another PlayStation Live service failure.
I mean, do people know this is still around?
Early PS5 adopters have likely forgotten about it. But like that was the thing. Like, oh, it no longer 70, it's going to plus. Everybody redeemed it. Sure, a lot of people tried it.
I did. I tried it.
Yeah. It wasn't for them. Yeah, it didn't find an audience. I mean, that's the thing though. It died like pretty fast. It was online for 3 more years.
Are we sure Sony didn't forget about the game? Like they just go, oh yeah, that game is still a thing, right? Oh, we should probably shut that down.
Well, yeah, like Lucid got acquired by Tencent, I think.
Right. It's like 2023.
Yeah, and XDev I don't think was clearly not touching the game because it was broken.
Yeah.
It did not. You'll sit in matchmaking, you'll never find another player. And people were like testing this. They would like set up 2 consoles.
Okay,
2
I was gonna
IDs.
say.
No, you couldn't.
Are you sure you weren't the only person online then?
That's a very real possibility, but people did try to matchmake with themselves.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, that's the thing. It's just no one even really noticed that. So I can't put it out of the realm of possibility that Sony kind of forgot it existed and was like, oh yeah, we should probably roll that back, shut it down. Yeah. Arcade mode, I guess, is still going to be alive. Great.
That's the thing. I'm not even sure there was much single player content. I didn't try it, but
are the trophies linked to the online?
Oh, undeniably, yeah. The platinum has been unobtainable, I should say, since 2024. When those servers broke, you couldn't. Yeah, it's done. So
there you go.
Yep. And funny enough, that was one of the few to this day PS5 exclusives. Fully exclude. You cannot play that anywhere else but PlayStation.
That's true. Oh man, that was on the list.
It's on the very short list.
Man.
And they printed it on disc.
I have it. I have it on disc. I do too.
So do
I have it. Yeah. I don't know why I have it. I can't remember buying it. I just did it like in it, like just randomly in my sleeves.
I wonder what's on the disc. Like, what can you install offline?
Sounds like a video. Destruction All Stars 1.0. What happens when I install this?
You think I'm gonna break?
No one's gonna care. That's what's gonna happen.
Break the seal on my copy of Destruction All Stars. It's not gonna happen. Next up, though, we do have Media Molecule's next game. You did mention this earlier, so we had this report from MP First. They spotted an online resume for a senior environment designer working at the studio who joined in April 2025. On their CV, it mentioned that they were the main contact and vision holder for various open world content on a new unannounced IP at the studio. Also noteworthy about this is that they worked with the leadership team on pre-production. And since they joined last year, that gives us a decent idea of maybe where they are in this game, because the implication sort of implies that maybe they're out of pre-production. Because as a reminder, Dreams support ended for that in 2023. So we might have a decent gap of time where they might be coming out of pre-production or they're already out of it. So that means they might be in full production on an open world game, which is good.
I like it. I mean, Dreams was a thing. I mean, like, I know people had a lot of fun with it because they could make, Banjo-Kazooie or Mario or whatever in there. And those are always fun to see those stories go around. I gotta be real though. I'm not the biggest, hey, I'm gonna go make a game in this game kind of person. But that's just because Dreams was, 80% creation tool, 20% game. So I'd like to think that they kind of flipped that a bit and it's more game than creation tool this time. And that's what it sounds like. Because we even had that interview, 2 years ago? It's been a little while now, right? Where he's like, yeah, it's more of a game this time.
And it should be. That's the weird thing about Dreams is that the pitch was so heavily skewed towards the creation aspect.
Mm.
And I mean, they did make it pretty clear, like, no, like the whole point is you could just jump in and play those levels too. You know, there was a lot to play in Dreams, but the messaging just it never got over that sort of hurdle for people of like it's got a campaign and you can, because like LBP was the same thing. Like plenty of people played LBP not touching the creation tools. Somewhere with Dreams, the wires got crossed and people felt it was like too much of the creation side to their detriment, and Sony didn't support the game enough to let them do a PC version and let people monetize their content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they never saw that all the way through and let them make that game for 10 something years, but I think the next play is like make something that feels more like a sold product to people.
Yeah, that's the thing with Media Molecule is they are very like genuinely creative people. So I think whatever they show up with is going to be different than like anything we've seen. So that's the thing I'm excited about, because I don't think they're going to show up and be like, here's Little Big Planet again. No, I think it's going to be something brand new. So I'm excited to see what they have for us. If nothing else, because it's probably not going to be anything we guess or expect.
Well, that's what's exciting to me. New IP, and I do love Media Molecule. It's been hard loving Media Molecule too, because it's like, okay,
Dreams.
I love Tearaway, but Dreams was, that took up a substantial portion of time. So there's no getting around that. Next up, I'm not sure we need to spend too much time on this, but John, it's been confirmed. I use air quotes here because it's a report from Jason Schreier. It's about as confirmed as it's going to get, but apparently there was an internal town hall at PlayStation. That's where Herman Hall said, yeah, single player games we're going to remain exclusive. Apparently in that report, Sony had plans to do Ghost of Yotei on PC. That's been canceled, and other internally developed games that went unnamed in that report. But so it's like, it's not PlayStation saying this to consumers. Jason's well sourced. He doesn't report things unless it's sourced enough.
What do you think that goes over with the because you've kind of talked about how this works between PlayStation and the studios. How do you think it goes over with them when like Sony proper tells, say, you mentioned with Ghost of Yotei, tells them, hey, we're not going to do that PC version that probably will sell a few million copies over time. We're just not doing that. Because that feels like that would be something that they would want to do to get more revenue to then make the next game.
Well, that's the conversation we kept having about it.
Yeah.
Everyone, like, there's two sides of the coin. Oh, the money they made was actually super inconsequential. The other side is like, yeah, but if you break it down on a studio by studio basis, that's like another 10% for that game. And when we're talking about 9-figure budgets, like, they need that. Even if it's 8 figures, it's every little bit helps. Like, there's way more pressure on these studios nowadays to deliver. So my logic was always like, it's just a business analysis. I have no skin in the game here about exclusivity. It's simply a matter of, you would think you want those studios to make as much money as they can. I don't really know where the relationship is as far as PC ports. I think that's certainly more of an SIE thing of like, we dictate when you're doing that or not. And the studios, at least on a personal level, they love having their games be played by more people. So I'm sure like nobody was like against, maybe like on the corporate side, because they have concerns about the long-term effects of doing PC games. But, people on the studio level probably love seeing their games played by more people.
I'm just saying, if I'm like someone, just as an example, somebody brought up like concern about Housemarque. Yeah. If I'm Housemarque and they're like, hey, Saros didn't do well enough, we got to talk about layoffs or shutdown. And it's like, hold on. You told me I can't put this on the PC. That probably would help. So like, what are we doing here? I mean, that is something that I'm curious if there would be any generated friction between a studio and Sony if that, if it came down to that. But me personally, I don't mind I do wonder if we've lost a bit from like gaming when it comes to the exclusive stuff. Cause I just feel like there was more competition generated when exclusives were running rampant between these companies. And I don't know, it feels like we may have lost a step with that as exclusives has kind of taken a step back.
I mean, there's an element of it where exclusivity always played a role. Maybe it plays less of a role now than it used to, but it's still there. You know, there's been recent surveys and everything. It's still like a key metric that shows up
Oh, it
as
is.
far as yeah. So, but it's like it's one part of the pie. You know, there's still other elements of it's the console my friends play on. It's the affordability aspect, or there's a small slice of that pie that says I still like to buy physical games for, if we're talking about consoles, for example. So it's not the be all end all factor for some people like it was 20 years ago.
Sure.
But that's like 20 years ago. And that's when it was everywhere. Like third party exclusives were everywhere. Now they're hardly a thing. And maybe that went to the thought process too, is that third party exclusivity is drying up. PlayStation was even really aggressive with that during this cycle. Like they don't, they do console timed exclusivity or just console exclusive as in it's on PC, but not the green guy. They did plenty of those early on.
I think it also played in back in the day. We had very different systems in terms of the hardware breakdown to where we would even just wonder, is this game exclusive because it can't run on that system? Dude, we talked about Metal Gear Solid 4 earlier in the show. That was a legitimate conversation. It was like, wait a minute, this is using the power of the cell. Look at all the stuff happening here. I don't know if that can run on the 360. That was and then we find out they actually had a build that they had internally. Go figure. But that was that conversations like those did happen. I mean, even back to the days of the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, when they were saying, "Oh no, Sonic can't run on the Super Nintendo." You see how fast that is because of the blast processing, guys. Those were legitimate things that we wondered.
They were.
So yeah. I think that also exclusivity lent itself to the different hardware makeups of the systems that just don't really exist between. I mean, slightly, but not enough to go, I don't know. Can the PS5 and the Xbox Series X run the same game? Who knows? It's like, no, they kind of can.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like when you grow up, you realize the magic's kind of lost. Like, because in hindsight, I would say the overwhelming majority of all those games could have shipped anywhere and probably ran fine within some safe parameters.
I don't know if so for example, Halo Combat Evolved, I don't know how that would have worked on the PS2. Just as an example, I don't know how Half-Life 2 would have worked on the PS2.
Well, that's what I mean though. Within like they know, like any other scalability, like within parameters, like it probably wouldn't look as nice. But like conceivably, there's very few times where like, no, that game can't run there. We have been fed that shit before. I think Housemarque did it one time for Resogun. Resogun can't be on PS3 because like Housemarque loves particle effects, and that is like a very like computationally expensive thing to just like blast particle effects everywhere. But it's like if you just don't do fucking 50 million of them at a time, like you'll probably get it running somewhere.
Ooh, what if they came back with Resogun, a new Resogun? Would that do it for you?
Dude, I get stiff so fast.
That would do it right there.
Yeah, that'd do it. That would do it. Well, okay. PlayStation back to single player games. We'll see how that works. Or single player exclusives. Multiplayer is still going to be PC in all likelihood. Other PS Studio announcements real quick. This was kind of old, but Marvel Tokon does have a story mode. There was like a weird misnomer going around with that it apparently has a 10-hour campaign of like comic book panels, but no battles. No, there's battles in the story mode. That was it was a whole back and forth.
I assume it's just like any other fighting game where there's a fight and then there's some story exposition, then another fight, then exposition, then fight. Like that'd be my assumption. Yeah,
there was like a story where it was like, oh, the game doesn't have that. And then I think it was the producer. Yeah, producer Takashi Yamanaka had a confirmed to 4gamer.net that the episode mode does have battles. So it's like a 10-hour campaign.
What did people think? You just sat there and watched comic strips go by the screen for 10 hours?
Apparently, but I was reading some people, and I don't know Arc System work games like that, but they're like, oh, that sounds like an Arc System game. I'm like, are they known for not having battles in the single player? I don't know.
I don't know. That seems weird. That would seem weird.
I
feel like there's fights in the arcade story mode.
I would think. Hopefully the chat will correct whatever the hell I'm saying. This is a very quick one. MLB The Show Mobile has launched globally. I only mention this because this might be PlayStation's most successful mobile game.
I could see it.
It
Wouldn't shock me.
surely. Yeah. So that's available right now, iOS, Android. Covered up the shift up thing. So here's another big story for us real quick. The PSN social engineering issue that happened recently. So it's a big story, big problem. It's been going on PlayStation for a long time, but it took Colin to really draw more attention to this. So Colin Moriarty from Sacred Symbols and Last Stand Media, they had their PSN account hijacked. They mentioned that they were not phished. They didn't click any links. They didn't share password information, nothing like that. Then they got a text from PlayStation about how their email address was changed and two-factor authentication was turned off. Then from Colin's account, Dustin Furman received a message on PSN threatening his account, saying you're next.
Oh, again, the Goldberg.
Yes. So Colin says he initially tried to go through PlayStation's regular customer service, wasn't getting anywhere. At that point, he fully admits, I just pulled some strings, reached out to people I know, escalated it further. Apparently, people also reached out once he put this on Twitter to escalate the issue faster. And then he got his account back in like under 24 hours. But it's a known issue. So let me explain to people how this works. I've gone through it myself. It's something where it's social engineering. Whether you want to call that a hack or not is really not important. The reality is what people do is they simply pretend to be you if they have enough information about you. They contact PlayStation support. They say, this is my ID. I can't get back into the account. So what PlayStation support typically wants is some level of support or some level of identification. Now, all companies do this to some degree. Everyone has different policies. I can't speak to other companies, but from my understanding, and I've also been through it, PSN doesn't need much. They'll take like a store transaction, like a recent game purchase. Now, it depends on the chat agent that you get. What these groups do, and there's basically this underground group of people that's what they do. They just buy and sell accounts just for like rare names, trophies, whatever the fuck these people are doing. So they just target accounts. They get enough info. They try the chat agent. If that chat agent is like, oh, give me the last 4 digits of the credit card, and you don't have that, they just try again because they can do that. They try another chat agent. Maybe that chat agent is like, okay, do you have a game purchase date? What'd you purchase on this date? Now you have that info. Maybe you take it a step further and look at trophy info, and maybe you just guess that the guy bought a game that day on day 1 or something. It's social engineering, and they can get into the account. Now, another really important thing to mention here, so people really need to understand this. It doesn't matter if you have two-factor on. It doesn't matter if you have passkey on. They can turn it off. The chat agent has the tools to just turn it off and change it. So that's PlayStation's problem. Another level of this, just to explain it better, is that PlayStation, like, you don't know what chat agent you're getting. I believe it's just one like call center or something in Indonesia, but it's like it's cheap labor. So the point I'm making here is that there's likely a lot of turnover. There's not a lot of oversight at that chat center. The security is only as good as the most vulnerable chat agent. So with this happening to Colin, the issue is heavily highlighted, but it's been a problem with PlayStation for a long time. Every time somebody does go through this, and they'll maybe talk about it on Reddit, maybe there's a thread on Reset Era. It's alarming how much victim blaming happens. And don't get me wrong, like, you shouldn't be sharing receipt details or something, but mistakes are mistakes, right? It happens. PlayStation should be securing these accounts and not letting them be handed off that easily. So it's a problem for sure. It's a big issue.
Yeah, especially since we're talking about accounts that could have a lot of money tied up in them just from your digital libraries. That's the whole reason some people stick with the system throughout generations, is because that's where my digital library is. I'm going to stick with it. Or the trophy list. Now, not everyone cares as much about trophies, of course, as others, but there are some, like, Ryan, if you lost your account, you'd be like, man, that might be it. I'm an Xbox gamer now. I mean, you'd be pretty annoyed about that. You would not be happy losing like the trophies that you have over like decades now. or decade plus. So with that in mind, I'm a little, I mean, I know this happens to a lot of companies because you'll get those random text messages for, pretending to be a bank or something. It's like, text us here and we'll help you figure this out. And you go, that's some random number that I've never, it's not even enough digits to be an actual phone number. So I don't know who this is. But it happens a lot. However, this is more a thing of they're going around you kind of and to Sony to make it happen. So it's one thing if you get phished or scammed, it's like, okay, I kind of messed up there. I got to try to figure this out with, your bank or what. But for this to just be, you could just be sitting at home, even playing your PlayStation at the time, and you start getting emails and all of a sudden you're signed out and you're like, what happened? I didn't interact with any of this. That does then fall on Sony's side for the security issues. And we've talked about how prices go up quite a bit. I mean, we've talked about PlayStation Plus going up. Then we hear about the security stuff. It's already expensive to hold an account with any of these companies now if you're doing PlayStation Plus or what have you. So I think it's more egregious when it comes down to the security protocol that they have right now and how poor or how susceptible it seems to be to just very basic social engineering. And I'd like to think it's easy enough for Sony to figure this out. And like now, I guess yesterday, but the fact that this has been going on as long as it has means that either Sony doesn't care or it's an expense issue for them. I'm not sure. It's because who's the person who has a bunch of platinum trophies? Guinness Book of World Record, right? Most trophies.
It happened to Hakum.
They're affected by it. That's crazy to me. It's like, I mean, he has a high value account. For those kind of people who have high value accounts, you feel like Sony should look at them almost as like, I don't know, a high priority account, VIP account, something, because clearly they're very invested in the platform, but I guess they still don't have their account back or they've been fighting and back and forth with it. So I don't know what's going on with Sony when it comes to this.
It's not good. My understanding is after the whole Colin thing, they're taking a better look at it. And I would sincerely hope that is what's going on. It's crazy how much like victim blaming I'm seeing. Like, don't get me wrong. People are dumb. They might have shared something that they shouldn't have shared, but PlayStation has a responsibility to their customers and do right by them and put good security measures in. And it's likely something where they just don't have very good oversight on a part of their business that they're outsourcing. These are not call centers in the US. They don't, they're not watching these people very closely. And there's just certain protocols where there's just the minimum's way too low. So I hope there's significant change happening relatively soon so that more people don't run into issues like this. And more importantly too, because some people I should say a lot of people can't do what Colin did.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, like he was initially saying, oh yeah, like I got on the phone with somebody, going through regular support, and apparently the non-poll version of his attempt was, oh, they'll call me back and it might be 3 weeks. I mean, what the fuck are we doing here? It's like you don't have there's not thousands of people doing this, so why does that one thing take 3 weeks? It sucks.
Yeah, that's it. But to me, it's like, hey, you probably shouldn't have tweeted out your password. Okay, yeah, man, I get that. But people were saying, hey, I just bought this game today. Here's a transaction ID or something, and that's enough from there for people to figure it out and take over your account. I don't know, that it's very different. I think the two of those, to where it's like, okay, a transaction ID is enough. It seemed like for a lot of people that in an email, and they're able to social engineer their way in and fill in the blanks. So Sony's got some work to do. And I think most people should want them to figure it out because, I mean, it was Colin now. You never know. Randomly, somebody could come across something with like an email that let's be real, packs of emails, large packs of emails get sold all the time on the black market. You know what I mean? Like that happens constantly. That's why you get spam emails despite never being signed up for something. Or phone numbers. Phone numbers are very big as well, like packs and packs of phone numbers. So eventually you could have people who are not the best in terms of what their intentions are, put 2 and 2 together and figure out a way into your account just from shopping on the dark web.
So we'll see what happens over time. I'll be watching it very closely to see what change possibly does or does not happen within PlayStation. But it's been a known issue for years, so hopefully they're starting to pay closer attention to it.
What would the video thumbnail look like if your account got hijacked?
Well, that's mine did get hijacked before. I had problems 2 years ago. And so it's the same thing. Like you don't know about this until it happens to you. Like then you learn how it happens, how it works, and so they've got to figure out something that can secure the customer accounts, because honest mistakes can happen for some people. So we will see. We'll see. I don't know if you want to maybe cover up some
I got it.
Catch up on some chats. John,
I'm still huffing opium with Media Molecule. Open world is difficult to get right, but the focus on a game first sounds like an ideal next step. It does. Yeah, I know. After hour 2, we start to fizzle out a little bit. We're old and it's late, so it happens. Walt Gardner says, "Give me that sweet macroeconomic discussion, boys."
Oh, we did. I hope we delivered it good.
Yeah, we basically said everything's doomed. That's what we said. Kinda.
Yeah.
Hey, get your invest in a PS2, keep that thing offline, and ride to the sunset.
Three.
You go with a 3, a 2, 3. Ride into the sunset. Zeron said it'd be a problem if they focus on optimization, but then hold back the gen once prices go back, if ever. That's the thing. Whatever decisions they make at the beginning of the generation, they're going to live with for the rest of it. So, like in terms of the hardware they use.
That's the other problem about locking in certain things. You lock it in, that's it. You're riding that for 8 years. Price can move.
Let's say they come in at a high price point. Effectively, what we've seen every generation till now, it goes down over time. I don't know if it's going to continue on the path we're on now. Maybe it does start to come back a bit. I don't know, but the hardware wouldn't change. They would still, whatever their memory configuration, whatever their chipset, anything, that's what it is until they get a pro version or something. So I'd personally rather them come in with something that's more capable and then work out the price as they go along, if they had to just pick and choose what the strategy is. Claw says, what new thing would the PS6 and Helix even bring? I can't think of anything now that PS5 and Xbox Series normalized solid state drives. AI.
I mean, that ray tracing being far more prevalent in most games at high frame rates. You'll probably see some path tracing games. And the thing I always say is like sensory experiences. I think you're going to have like a next gen DualSense, the next iteration of the 3D Audio Tech engine. And then at least for PlayStation, they tend to like doing a new UI. So I'm sure there's going to be some sort of fancy thing that only that console can do. So that the onus is on them to find ways to make it seem compelling when you're asking that question.
Just tuned in. Did Ryan kill Craven? Shout out to Clayton Morris. You got the.
I got him, Clayton.
You got him? You sure?
I got him. It was off the stream though. I got him.
It was it? Was it?
Yeah.
Yes, says, hi Ryan. What's your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh game? My favorite is False-Bound Kingdom.
Ooh, Eternal Duelist Soul. Game Boy Advance. I feel like everyone's answer to this is just the first one they played. So mine was Eternal Duelist Soul.
It was the one on the PS1. Forbidden Memories.
Forbidden Memories. A lot of people like that. My Yu-Gi-Oh rant with that game is like, I don't know why people love it so much.
I remember fusing the cards. So I had no idea how it worked. So what I would do is I had my entire hand and I would just try to fuse the whole hand. And and at one time it was rolling, so like 5 cards. It was like, oh, that, because I don't know what combinations are. It's like the first one fused, the second one fused, third one fused. I'm like, oh my gosh, the whole hand is going to fuse, and then the last one comes in, just knocks it right out of there. I'm like, oh, never mind.
Well, like I think people like live streaming the game to like speed run it, and I think a lot of people like, oh, that was their first one. So I get that as an answer. My frustration is like what you're describing is not Yu-Gi-Oh. That's not how the game's played. Eternal Duel of Soul is Yu-Gi-Oh. So like that's my rant.
That's Yu-Gi-Oh to me. Fusing the whole hand, rolling the
Yeah.
dice.
That's how it works now.
B-Day says, sup fellas, is an all new Motorstorm, or at the very least a remaster, ever possible on PS5 or PS6?
Well, anything's
Remaster?
possible.
Remaster, maybe?
Anything's possible. I'd say a remaster is more likely.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Bobo says, people complain about modern PS4 releases, but I argue not enough games are coming to PS4. There are games coming out for Switch 1 and 2, PS5, but not PS4. If the game can run on Switch 1, then it should go to PS4. Yeah, I mean,
I've made that case before. The interesting thing is Bobo12300 is that those PS4 versions, they just don't sell. Like, so I think a lot of studios have just come to the conclusion of it doesn't matter if it conceivably can run on a PS4. Like it's just the QA process, submission, validating a PS, like it's actually just not worth it. Like the games sell that poorly. So it is a legacy console now.
Jeannie says, I just started Lego Horizon, my first Lego game, and I don't understand why people hate the game. I'm having a lot of fun, and it's pretty challenging.
I like it too. I had a great time with it. It's it's like any other Lego game. Turn your head off. You don't got to think about anything.
Okay. Just hit buttons.
Yeah, just hit buttons.
Zeron says, I haven't kept up. How's the Trails in the Sky remake progress going? I beat 100 hours games this year, including remake. I'm addicted. I'm still working through it. I gotta get through it before the second chapter comes out in September, I believe. But I will work through it before the end of the summer.
Good stuff, John.
Claw says, that's like how Rebirth was to you. That's how this Trails game is going for me. Claw says, I never expected day and date, but I don't know why Sony didn't even try better PC pricing before giving up. Plus, how is Sony going to sustain its costs with only an increasingly expensive console? They're going to raise PlayStation Plus. Yeah, no, I don't know. They have their work cut out for them. Absolutely. I mean, if PC really hit it off for them, I think they would be in a better position right now because they'd have their PlayStation user base and then a whole new user base on PC. But it didn't necessarily work out outside of Helldivers 2. Obviously, that did work. Claw says exclusives lost a lot of allure once everyone went to the same x86 architecture. Before, it was cool seeing how each platform differentiated itself. That I will somewhat agree with. Yes, I thought it was just interesting to see the different hardware combinations.
I mean, there's always something unique about really bespoke, exotic architecture. Mm-hmm. But then you get a PS3. I think that console took it too far. Yeah.
That's true. That's fair.
People tend to forget PS2 was also famously like a lot of developers hated PS2 at the time too. Yeah. Like, why the fuck why is this thing so fucking hard to make games for? And then Sony literally heard that and went, oh, bet. And like made it one way harder than that. So
yeah, and then what did they do to figure out the PS2? They put a PS2 chip on the board. That's how they did it.
Pretty much.
You bought a PS3 and a PS2 at the same time. Toasty says, do you think Wolverine will be $80? Would the game survive any pricing backlash?
No. I mean, I think we're going to get pre-orders for that game next week.
$70. Yeah. Oh, do you think there'll be an early access $80 version, though?
You know, I mean, I think that's probably the new trend now with SIE. So, yeah. Probably. Yep. Yote didn't have that, right? It was just DS2 and Saros.
Did Yote? Oh man, I
don't
remember. I have Yote physically, so I don't know. I wish I could tell you.
I don't think Yote did. I'm sure the chat will catch up and correct me.
I mean, I was gonna get Wolverine physically anyway. I got like Saros, got that, physically. So
yeah.
Toasty says, I hope we see the Lies of P sequel soon. I want to see Cutie Pinocchio in his tight little box.
Oh,
well, there you go.
Toasty, calm down.
Space Samurai says, I'm a little worried about the account hackings. I just got my 44th platinum Rainbow Six Siege, and that took 5 years to get. Ooh, you're number one target right now. You got the 5-year plat. Man,
better watch your back. Just be careful. Practice. Make good practices. Don't share things.
Yeah. Toasty says, here's some mature rated 3D platformer recommendations. Okay. Hellpie and Gory Cuddly Carnage. They're both really good.
I've seen the gory game. It's like a little cat on a skateboard. It's
What?
pretty sick. Yeah,
Interesting.
he's cool. It kind of looks like Blinks.
Ah, okay. That boy says, had that happen to me when I was leaving for university. The guy bought God of War Ragnarok and Forbidden West, and I couldn't get a refund. Insanity. Oh, like somebody hijacked your account and started buying stuff.
Yeah, that's rough.
This is from Norfair Affair. Are you guys getting
I
GTA
forgot
6
this
day
fucking
one?
guy.
Also, you guys want to play a few games of news soon? I know Ryan can't get enough.
There was like a part of me that did not remember that at all. Oh boy. Sure. We'll play soon. We'll jump
If
in.
there is a GTA Online like level or something that's news, you have to play it. You have to play with them. You have to. There's no choice.
How crazy would it be if there was like a Hangman's Noose version in GTA 6? Like Petrovic came back or something.
You would have to live stream it.
I might have to.
Yep, that would be it. You'd have to live stream it. We'll do it on Click
He's submitted enough chats. I think
You hear that, Norfair? Just make sure you ping Rockstar and be like, you have to do this.
Yeah. Make it happen.
You start playing it, and then Bowie Knife 99 will come out of nowhere and knock you out.
Fine. If I get kicked out of the game fast.
You see the memes around that? That is crazy.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, dude. I saw Ace
up.
Attorney like tweeted about it. Like, what in the world? Ace Attorney?
I didn't see Ace Attorney.
Dude, everybody. It's so funny.
Shit. Well, we got still a little bit left here. We'll try and speed through these fast. We won't do all these, but there was like a lot that came out from this recent interview. Christian Svensson, he's the VP of second and third party content ventures and strategic initiatives at PlayStation. It's a very wordy title, but he was speaking with Christopher Dring of the games business. He talked a lot about his job. Christian, he doesn't do many interviews, so he gave some valuable insight into, how PlayStation operates with those teams. So they've got 5 global teams, and they're all responsible for basically non-first party games, first party studios rather. So second party experiences, but also third party partners as well. So there's a lot of good quotes that we got out of there. One thing is that Christian said they're approaching 10,000 partners registered with PlayStation right now, which is just absurd. If anything, that makes me think of why it's such a problem to have a tight grip on the shit that gets submitted to PlayStation all the time now. I was like, yeah, we got almost 10,000 partners. I'm like, oh, that's why shit comes out.
Yeah.
These terrible these companies with dev kits. He also said that their company has a responsibility to the whole industry. So Christian said, quote, if you look at PlayStation's history from the beginning, we've been a very third-party focused ecosystem. If you talk to Nishino-san, who has a very product-led background, he'll say PlayStation is just a plastic box without content, and third parties are the lion's share of the content. So it is critical that we continue to lean in and drive and be ambitious and bring new voices to the platform. If we ever stop doing that, the industry will stop growing. We have, as an industry leader, a responsibility to continue to drive and push and to grow the whole industry, not just our own business. Which is true. I mean, when you're a dominant main player in the space, you actually, you do prop up a good portion of it.
Oh, yeah. Especially like third party side, they're absolutely the default. PlayStation is the default system for third party games. Just basically across the board. People argue first party, of course, back and forth, but third party is like obvious. So,
yeah. He also mentioned that during this console cycle alone, they've funded 120 games. And that's not counting the hero projects. So outside of hero projects, they've in some way, shape, or form fully or just partially funded 120 games. And talking about the hero projects, he did say that they do have some grants and funding. That actually does represent 1% of the total volume of games coming out, which I think is that metric makes sense if they have that much shit coming out anyway. But yeah, for the China Hero Project, they're preparing a 4th wave and bringing in some outside investment to scale what they're doing. And they're going to be doing the same thing for Middle East, North Africa as well.
okay.
Does that sound about right, John? 120 funded games?
120 funded games? Yeah.
I think you hear that and you go, where?
Yeah, I know.
But
That's what a lot of people are saying. They're like,
well, so that's what they do, right? They have these programs, they have these grants, they they do workshops and things like that, and there is money available to these studios. They're probably including, like $5,000 here or something for a very small team, but goes a long way to getting games off the ground. So it is good to hear that they do that. And that's some of those was like the big quotes. He also said that he's bullish on the upcoming years. So just saying that he's got the privilege to see the next 5 years of games, and he's saying it looks great, which I think he's going to
say that. But
yeah, kind of has to.
It'd be really bad if he was like, dude, the next 5 years, we might be in some trouble.
This shit sucks.
Yeah, he kind of has to dress it up either way. Internally, he could be like, oh, I don't know about that game, but you know what? Wait till you see this.
That'd be funny if he's like, this shit blows. There's nothing coming. We got some other just smaller, well, I say smaller, but third-party news stories to cover up here. There was a big GTA 6 pre-order fiasco that came and went. It's past May 26th. We should have been playing the game by now.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy? Yeah. People like mourning the old release date online. I saw that. We should have been playing it right now. It's like, okay, all right, I guess.
We did have Take-Two's recent financials, and the plan's still the same. No pricing announced yet. Marketing this summer, and release date unchanged. So that's good though. Full steam ahead. And marketing is confirmed for PlayStation, so that is coming up. Yep. Next, we have Unreal Engine 6 had a soft reveal with Rocket League. So there was that recent esports event, Psyonix, which is owned by Epic Games. They showed a new trailer. They're like, oh, we're moving engines, showing nice blades of grass, beautiful looking cars, new stadium, UE6 at the end.
That surprised a lot of people.
It did. I'll tell you, obviously it's not like the full technical breakdown, but we'll probably get that with like proper unveilings of Helix and PlayStation 6. That's when we'll probably have another more thorough deep dive, kind of like what we had with PS5. And really major Unreal Engine updates always aligned with PlayStation launches. So UE3 was there with PS3, UE4, PS4. I'm sure we will see one with PS6 as well.
That'd be my assumption. Yeah, I think UE6 probably like a 2028 thing, like when it actually releases, and you see it start to roll out. So, I'm curious, just to see what they have, what their big pitch is for this. Hopefully, the games run better and they take less time to develop, but probably not it. So.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? It's such a generalized engine now. So, if you think back, even like, let's say 15 years, maybe that sounds like it's far away, maybe not, but 15 years ago, there were still a lot of proprietary engines at a lot of studios. Like everybody's using UE5 now. So I think the big pitch is it better be optimization and efficiency. We did mention, Modern Warfare 4 was announced. I guess that's big news. It's the annual Call of Duty game. What's funny is that, I think you mentioned earlier, Warzone is shutting down on PS4.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Delisted very soon.
It looks more like a Call of Duty game. The last few have been, they're doing some weird, it doesn't look like Call of Duty there, right? Beavis and Butthead was running around with Ninja Turtles and a skateboard. You know what I mean? It's Nicki Minaj like sneaks up and like cuts your throat. And it's like, okay, I guess this is Call of Duty. I don't know what this is anymore. We dropped in one time to Warzone and Seth Rogen was like laughing in your ear as you were popping gummies.
Really?
So, yeah, they had like a whole like drug like induced mode, and I'm like,
it's that goofy now, huh?
Yeah, it was. So I will say, when they were showing the stuff, it kind of gave me like when Battlefield, the most recent one, showed up. There were like Battlefield 6. It was back to boots on the ground. Kind of getting those vibes from Modern Warfare 4, and this is Infinity Ward, and I'd like to think they looked around at what's been happening and go, you know what? Let's go more back to basics. Now that can change throughout a season where they're like, nope, crazy collaboration. There's a Gundam in the field for some reason. Good luck. Okay. But at least to start, and the campaign's playable offline. And I'm hearing the right things right now. It's kind of the standard hype cycle for COD though. You see it at first, you're like, oh, okay, this could be cool. And then it actually comes out and you're like, maybe not.
All right.
That's what it comes down to. So I'm hoping like Black Ops 7 was kind of like that, but they started showing some of the craziest stuff as we got close to it, to where the campaign was terrible. And that's I'm hoping this ends up being a good Call of Duty year.
Yeah, I haven't really had my pulse on the franchise, so I'll defer to you on that.
I'm hoping.
Sega announced the cancellation of their Big Super live service game. So another live service cancellation. That was, I think, like 2-ish weeks ago, but
This is the correct move.
Yeah, I thought it was noteworthy. They're actually teasing the new Crazy Taxi, so that'll be
Yes, sir.
But
Yes,
that's
sir.
going to have multiplayer. Or is that going to be live servicey?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly it is. How does Crazy Taxi exist right now without it being live service?
Yeah.
I think it'll have online modes. I think they'll be lean into the multiplayer side, but it's fun to see Crazy Taxi back. So I don't know. We'll see. Next week, though, I assume there's somewhere in those events it's going to be. So.
Well, there's that, and then we'll skip this one.
Yeah, we're like 2.5 hours in, and you're like, oh my gosh, the list.
We got most of it. I think we covered the big stories. I think we're just about wrapped up.
I have some other chats here, and then you got to give us the sound bite, the whole thing again. Hold on,
John. You can't just say it. I was starting to pull it up and everything.
Well, because we're back again. We're back in.
I got to use it once. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're back in 5 days again. Next podcast in 5 days.
Right.
We're going on short rest. Let me see. We got a Bespoke says, Sony, like you think, you think PS2 hard, hold my mocha latte here, PS3, Holst out. Holst keeps dropping. How many microphones does this guy have?
There's just an assistant off screen handing him microphones.
Right. Toasty says, if Intergalactic fails, it'll make The Last of Us Online cancellation incredibly funny.
Oh, that'd be depressing.
Kana 2 gameplay. Oh, that could be there. That could be.
I feel like that's a safe one.
Clay Moore says, would Sony support a complete on-disc label? And how do you think they're going to handle physical ownership with the new handheld? That's the mystery.
I would love a complete on. If they embraced it, I'd be elated. Now they're not doing that. I think it's safe to say they're not doing that. But John, you know my bullshit with the handheld.
You have it in the system, it verifies, and then you can play it on your handheld.
I think there's like a way they could easily offer it. Like they're not gonna they're not gonna print games on cards or anything like that. But it's like if it's similar to remote play where it wants an online handshake with a registered console with the disc inserted, which validates the launch of the software on the handheld. I think technically they could do it. I just don't think they're going to. I think it's just this is a digital system.
Yeah, I think they look at their user base and realize that they are more digital than physical, and that the handheld would probably just push physical owners over to the digital side more. But they're also going to be selling to a lot of people who are like, well, my library's digital, so do I care? Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think we will still have it. I think we'll still have a disk drive though. Like they'll give us something. There'll be some way to plug it in. It might not look as like put together as this one does now. It's just USB-C cable, plug it in. It's going to look as a little external drive. So I don't know.
Oh no. It better like at least mold to the system's design. Do not do an HD DVD add-on thing. Like no,
you getting that HD DVD add-on? Oh, maybe they'll give it a little stand though, so it can stand up a little bit.
No, it better be ingrained into the console's form factor.
I'm expecting incredible amounts of disappointment next year.
Shut up.
$1,000. Also, the disc drive, $100. It's a cable that comes off the side. Ryan, that thumbnail from Ryan's gonna be crazy.
Shut up, John. Shut up.
Fire in the background. Skull King says, we want Little Big Planet 4 and Destiny 3. Best use of Sony's money.
Skull King, you have been asking for LBP4 for as long as I've recognized your name, which has been a very long time.
Hey,
I'd love for it. It's not happening.
They're sticking with it.
It's not happening.
I appreciate the determination. Toasty says, if there was a Mount Rushmore style monument for PlayStation, what 4 characters would be on it? Ooh, that's a good
Mount
one.
Rushmore. I think Kratos definitely has earned it.
Kratos is obvious. Yeah, that has to be up there. But you can't pick Crash anymore, even though Crash was outside of Nintendo's headquarters yelling at him. That's Microsoft now. That's the crazy thing to think about, right?
Yeah, but I think PlayStation history has stretched beyond Crash, like at that point, for the sort of synonymous nature of them.
Which car do we put on there for Gran Turismo?
A Nissan's R34 Skyline.
Okay, you got to put maybe it's just the Gran Turismo logo up there. I mean, Gran Turismo's been there since the beginning. I don't know.
You do Kratos,
You're putting Jack up. I already know you're putting Jack up.
No,
there.
no, it's a Mount Rush. I'm not gonna be. Come on, I've got to be objective.
You're putting Jack up there.
No, I'm actually for Naughty Dog. I'm split between like a
Nathan.
Joel, Ellie, or just put Drake up there.
You just put Drake up there, man.
I think Drake does kind of just teeter above.
Drake up there.
Yeah, but then there's two
he brought
more.
The PS3 back, man. He brought it back. He didn't ride the coattails of the PS4. He brought it back.
I would honestly argue you put Ratchet up there.
Ratchet's been. He's been. Yeah.
It's one of the longest standing PlayStation properties.
I feel like they're putting Aloy on there though.
I don't know if there's. To me, there's not like an obvious pick for the fourth one.
Well, I mean, you think about how many copies Horizon sold over.
No, I know, but it shouldn't be up there. And I like Horizon. I don't think it should be up there.
Not Aloy. So Ratchet though. Ratchet would be the
I think Ratchet should go up there. Yeah.
Been there since the PS2 days.
Yeah. Maybe you put a car up there.
Just a car.
Yeah.
If you don't show the logo of the brand and you kind of mess with the dimensions of the car a little bit, maybe the logo is just the Gran Turismo logo on the front of the car. I don't know.
Put Shohei Ohtani up there for MLB The Show. Just put a baseball player up there.
Okay. Yeah, oh man, it's that's the funny. The obvious is Kratos, but from there, Sackboy. I saw Sackboy in the chat.
I feel like it's got to be something that's like a really long-standing property that's also still relevant today.
That's true.
It can't be a newish character, and it can't be a character that hasn't been revisited in a long time.
So you got to go back to at least the PS2 days or the beginning of the PS3 days. That would have still been for Uncharted. You know, that would have still been. The PS2 was somewhat relevant still then. You know?
Yeah.
So I think you could go Kratos, Drake, Ratchet. I wish there was a way to get Gran Turismo on there because that is like the storied franchise. That really is. Like if you look at it, it's been around for so long.
You said just put a car up there, John.
It's so funny to put. I'm picturing Mount Rushmore of just they're supposed to be people, heads of people, and then at the end, and it's like here's just a
Carrera GT or some shit.
Just driving fast.
Yeah, put a Ford GT up there. I don't know.
Yeah, I see. Like Clayton says, Crash Bandicoot. It's funny. I think back to the days, and I do think Crash, but it's like he's Microsoft now, so it's like.
See, like when I hear Crash, I don't think PlayStation holistically. I picture the PS1.
Definitely the PS1, yes.
That's the synonymous nature of Crash to me. If we think about like how it ties into PlayStation history.
Yeah.
Crash is fucking dead to me on PlayStation 2.
He had games though.
They're all right. They're all right. Like I like Twinsanity. They're not awful, but like 30 years on, like to me, that's a PS1 sort of branded character for PlayStation history.
Yeah, I mean it's the thing is crazy with Sony is the one character that's obvious is Kratos, and that's kind of the only obvious one right now.
Toro Inoue.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't really been a recent Toro game, I'm fairly certain, but put Toro up there. He's a Sony cat.
Okay.
He's a long-standing PlayStation character.
Is that the cat that's on the little PlayStation card?
See, it's just so sad that's what you know of Toro. Like that's like you got to put respect on Toro's name.
I have the box.
But to you, he's like, oh, that's like the PSN avatar.
Yeah.
That white cat avatar on PS3.
Yep. I have the box.
I wonder when I think the last Toro game was on PS4.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a PS5 game. There's surely a PS5 game. I don't know. Chat can correct me. Comments can correct me.
Let's see. Gaffer says, "Shut up, John. Merch when?" That actually would sell.
When we putting the logo on on a shirt?
That would probably sell. Johnny says, "When I think of Gran Turismo, I think of the Ford GT."
I said Ford GT. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Like the Carrera GT. But I lean more Japanese, so I think of like the Skyline.
Spoke says, "Hey, plumber boy, Holst Rushmore out." You putting Herman Holst? I'm not putting Herman Holst up there. I think those are all the chats. Shout out to the chat. We appreciate the support.
Good God. Yeah, we love them, don't we?
All right, Ryan, hit us with it.
It is time for PS. the topic of the show where we go over something old, cool, nostalgic, or interesting about PlayStation history, teach the kiddos something they didn't know about PlayStation. Let me pull up my PSX notes because I didn't pick one today. I know that was really anticlimactic. Oh, I did this one. I got to copy this one off. Oh, how about this one? This one's funny. Mark Cerny, right? The architect for PlayStation consoles since the PlayStation 4. Guy shows up, well, he's been with, well, this is the fact, right? Is that he's been synonymous with PlayStation for a very long time. You can watch old PlayStation Underground videos, and he's been a producer, a game designer on some of your favorite early PlayStation games, like your Crash, your Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank games. He's always been there, right? Cerny Games, he's done consulting. 2008, he steps in. That's when they begin their post-mortem on the PlayStation 3. He asks Shuhei Yoshida, can I be the system architect for PS4? What's less documented is he's the system architect for PlayStation Vita. They were designed in tandem. That stretched into the PS4 Pro, PS5, PS5 Pro. That man is hard at work on PlayStation 6. But with all of that in mind, and I'm fairly certain this is still a true fact, he is not and has never been an official PlayStation employee.
Contracted the whole time, huh?
He's a contractor. He's always been a contractor. Now, I don't have the guy's pay stubs, so I don't know if that's like for certain true. But I believe he said that a long time ago. So maybe he's on the payroll now. I don't fucking know. Even if he was, it's a pretty fascinating fact that he worked for as long as he did with PlayStation and was never officially an employee. And that's the fact.
I think it is funny to look at the games he's worked on in the past. Have you ever done that, like going through the list of games?
Oh, yeah. I mean, his Moby Games credit's probably super long.
He was remember Dick Tracy? Well, Dick Tracy was a whole thing on YouTube for a while for the NES game. He's like a programmer for that game. He was a producer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. He is for Crash and Burn. He was a programmer. And obviously with Crash Bandicoot, he's a big part of that as a executive producer. But it's funny to go way back before PlayStation was even a thing and just see what like he was working on. And Marble Madness. Huh?
He made Marble Madness, yeah.
Yeah.
That was his early claim to fame.
1984. So he's been in the game for a long time, and culminated with him coming up with a much easier system to develop for with the PS4 that absolutely took over consoles.
That's true. That is true. That's
never had to be an employee either for Sony.
That's weird. I'd love to know for like 100% certainty that like he's never been an employee. And
he watches the show. Just go ahead and ask.
Right. Yeah. This would be, that's not news to me at all.
Go ahead and ask.
So I would think that I don't know. Maybe at some point that changed, but I believe he said that at one point. We just
need the base stub.
Yeah.
I wonder if he has like his own little company set up and he just contracts that with Sony. I don't know. Sometimes that's what happens when they get to a certain point, because there's actual like legit contracts that are being drawn up that are like, it's not a little bit of money. You know what I mean? Like, there's significant money changing hands when you get to that level.
I'm trying to remember what he said on the topic, and now it's vaguely coming back to me. He said like, oh, it's great that I get to do this job because he didn't say this for verbatim, but like, because I'm not an employee, like I get all this money money to do stuff within the company, and he's not employed. So he feels like there's less pressure.
Could ask around, figure it out. We'll see. Get to the bottom of this. Mark Cerny's employment status.
Yes.
Johnny says Twin Sanity needs to come back.
I would take a port of that.
Toasty says Kratos, Ratchet, Sardan, and Jason from Heavy Rain. That's random.
The child that dies in the opening of the game.
Whoa! Spoilers.
Opening of the game, John. It's a meme.
I told people what happened at the end of Final Fantasy VII Disc 1 from the 90s, and that's still a problem.
That's way far in that game, though.
What? That's not that far.
Oh, that's like, what, 10 plus hours?
Is it 10 hours?
15?
It's 10 hours.
Could be, that could be like 20 hours to some people.
Well, all I know is if you start up Final Fantasy VII for the first time right now, you absolutely want to grind and make sure that Aerith is like max level before the end of disc 1.
Dude, you're terrible. You're terrible right now. There are some people that have played, like I've seen people jump into FF7 not knowing anything.
I was giving a fine gameplay tip. I didn't say anything happened.
On the show.
Okay.
I'm done.
I got all the chats. Yeah, we're good there. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This was Click R3 number 47. We'll be back in a few days, actually. Next week when we have the State of Play. Myself, Ryan, and maybe a mystery guest. We'll see. We'll come by that night to react to everything that happened there. We'll probably all have lists of stuff made after we're watching it, and I'm sure Ryan will have a video reacting to some of it. I'll probably react to a couple of things, but we'll have a little discussion that night, so it'll be fun. Hour or so, we'll just kick around what was shown. So tune in then. Otherwise, though, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. We'll figure out the schedule. We got kind of thrown off a little bit from the previous one, but we'll get back on track here soon. And thanks, Johnny. Don't do drugs. That is correct. Thank you. And we'll see you guys next time.